First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for upNXT. You found us at postwrestling.com, whatever podcast app you choose to use, and we are
live on youtube.com/postwrestling. Hello, YouTube room. How are we doing?
Hello. Hello, YouTube. Hello, all the postmarks out there. It's Sunday, December 7th. We're going to talk about a deadline. We've approached the deadline, and we're here to talk all about WWE NXT Deadline, all the NXT chat here. You know why? Because we are your NXT friends.
Friends.
And we'll always be your NXT friends. And today, if you're listening, you're our friends. You're our Iron Survivors is what you are, because you're listening to the BDE talking about NXT. So hopefully you're having a good Sunday, or maybe a Monday, or whatever day it is right now when you're listening to this. So get your beverages of choice. Maybe you're driving. Be careful. Maybe you're in the shower. I don't know. But hopefully you're having a good day. Are you having a good day?
Yeah, I'm all right. Little sleepy. Was working last night and had to try and watch this PLE, but I'm good. I'm good enough.
No one came to the bar asking, "Hey, why don't you have the NXT on?"
Not last night, but our good friend Big Tom had to throw someone out literally at the end of the night, which I've not seen before, which was pretty exciting.
Did he get physical?
So we had our own Iron Survivor. Yeah, he had to get a bit physical. He was being very nice. We have a friend who's a bit of a giant called Big Tom, and he works security at my bar. And
he is literally taller than the Undertaker. Can legit
and
confirm.
He's the sweetest guy, and most of the time he doesn't really need to get physical because people look at him and they're like, you know what, you're right, I'll leave.
We've seen that happen a lot, where people usually step up to him and then they go, actually, sorry,
you could eat me.
So because he's huge. Yeah.
Yes. And then he was being super patient, super polite, and then the guy shoved him. So it was out you go, and it was pretty hilarious to watch.
Wow. Yeah, like he can pick up people without ease. At WrestleMania 40, JBL asked him, "Are you interfering in the main event or something?" And he's like, "No, I don't work here." He's like, "Oh, my bad."
I'll put it this way: remember the Claudio Orange Cassidy match from a couple of weeks ago, and the like him just dragging him by the jean pants, by the belt line. Very reminiscent of that last night.
Yeah, damn. I mean, he's a big dude. Security, you get hired for a reason.
Yeah.
So good to know. Good to know. I mean, I don't know anyone who would want to pick up. Like Tom famously has worked security for many, many famous bars and events in the history of this city in Toronto. But like I've been to this bar, Sneaky D's. We've done events there and stuff for years. And in the past, I've seen a guy get literally thrown, like try to fight physically, throw hands at the security guard, and the guard threw him down like the entire set of stairs. And then years later, as I got older and we became friends with Tom, I was explaining to him like, "Oh, you must hear a lot of stuff. Like I've seen stuff at Sneaks." And he's like, "Yeah, one time I had to throw a guy down these stairs." I was like, "Wait a second. I think I was there for that." He's like, Yeah. I'm not proud of it, but if you touch him, it's like, that's how it works in the jungle in real life. If someone shoved him, That's the first move, right? I watch way too many fight videos on Twitter and stuff, but that's the rule. You shove, that counts as a physical touch, then you started it. So yeah, he who dealt it, what that's hilarious. So hopefully he's okay. Shooken up, Big Tom?
Oh, Big Tom's absolutely fine.
Shout out Big Tom. Pure Fandom also is anytime you go to our shows or like Demand Lucha or anywhere in the city, Tom also runs a lot of merch, and we get a lot of our masks and stuff from him. And I know around Christmas time, I'm sure he's moving a lot of stuff, wrestling merch and everything. So check out Pure
Absolutely.
Fandom.
I was going to say, if you are looking to treat a wrestling fan to a gift, some merchandise, check out Pure Fandom. They've got a bunch of great stuff.
He can get some crazy stuff. Like at some of our events, we've gotten the Rey Mysterio Wolverine All In mask. I remember I brought that all the way to the UK for our All In It event, and
he had the Ulafala before the Ulafala was available.
Yeah, he literally had that before they even sold it. So I don't know how he gets. I got my fanny pack that I know he picked up from Stash Pages from him as well. So yeah, he's got like some pretty obscure but really cool wrestling merch, and especially the masks. I think he's definitely he gets legit ones. So shout out Pure Fandom. But that's funny. I know he would have liked you to have NXT on, but I'm glad that
he didn't know it was happening. He doesn't know much about NXT.
Lucky, because he would have, if it was an event he actually knew something about, he would have probably spoiled it by accident.
Yeah,
known for doing that too. So.
I'll try and get some MLW on for him.
He likes the lucha. He likes he was into the AAA before WWE picked him up. Yep. But put that on and he'll be a happy guy. But yes, shout out Big Tom. Shout out anyone in the city of Toronto or the Great Toronto area. We will be announcing a watch party for the Royal Rumble in the next few weeks. So follow the space if you are in the city. We also are friends with Demand Lucha, and they have 2 shows coming up, one on Wednesday in Oshawa and one on Thursday in Parkdale Hall. So I think it's in 2 weeks.
In a couple of weeks. Yeah. 17th and 18th.
Yeah. So super excited about that. They always put on a killer show. And I know Beast Mortos is going to be at this one. So definitely looking forward to that, but support your local indie wrestling, in the world of, John Cena retiring next week. He still has time to go hang out with Bayley and her friends and this whole indie women's wrestling summit meetup thing that she did.
Shout out Bayley, who I believe covered everything for this event, right?
That's crazy.
Training thing. And then Cena was apparently with them for 8 hours, giving pointers and stuff and watching everything. It sounds awesome. And
if you don't know what we're talking about, just go to Bailey's socials. But she called this thing Lodestone 2025. So something apparently she might be doing in the future. But she got all these independent wrestlers, these women, together and did a whole weekend training camp. And these are essentially a lot of people who are up and coming wrestlers. So maybe you're not super familiar with on the independents. But then imagine John Cena just showing up and being he's going to be your trainer for the day is absolutely mental. So all the power to Bayley. And John Cena has put out some really positive social media posts as well about this. So that love to kind of see that stuff in the world of wrestling. So yeah, really cool.
Do you think we'll get a surprise John Cena appearance on Raw to set up his last match?
I think, well, they said it's his last Raw.
Oh, true.
2 Raws again.
Yeah,
so,
true.
and I haven't finished it, but yesterday I was listening to on a walk the John Cena, Joe Rogan thing. And I do have some thoughts about that because one, I think John feels the most broest he's ever, unrobotic John. And in doing that, he also says some things that I'm oh, maybe you shouldn't have said that. But he says a lot of other stuff that I think was pretty interesting and dare I say pretty inspiring. But then he mentions Vince way too much, and I'm all right, shut up a little bit. But he did say that I won't be on Raw.
Okay,
don't expect me. I don't want to promise it.
I do find it weird because he says in that interview that he was willing to do 200 plus dates, and WWE were we don't even do 200 dates anymore. And then they ended up just doing 30. Now I'm thinking back to the build up for WrestleMania 40, The Rock did a few unadvertised appearances, didn't he, to build that up? And it was always a big surprise. I'm just surprised. Like, if Cena's willing to do more, if Cena's showing up to do 8-hour training sessions, like, it's weird not to just have that face-to-face with Gunther leading into the match. I feel it's needed, but
yeah. Isn't that weird? Like, that's something I took away from is, he's saying, oh, I would have done this whole crazy thing, but they didn't want that, which is kind of crazy because I think as we counted down closer to it, and I'm sure every city got the same treatment, but his last Toronto date was the Elimination Chamber. That was the big Cena turning heel moment. And leading up to that, they pushed heavy of this is the last time you get to see him wrestle. And I'm sure every city got pushed like that. Like, hey, if you ever wanted to see him wrestle or you were a big fan or whatever, like this is literally the last time. And I'm sure they could have milked that for more than what they did, really. And it's kind of interesting. It sounds like he was like, all right, in my last year, I want to do all these things and help the most I can because I won't be doing this afterwards. And it kind of sounds like maybe he had a lot more to give.
You've heard this with other people though, haven't you? Goldberg said the same thing. Like Goldberg wanted to do like a couple of matches leading up, or at least more Raws to actually sell the story.
Well, I don't know if you get Goldberg helping out at wrestling training camps.
No,
but I know what you mean.
Not that, but just to build the match. Like he wanted like a bit more of a build with him and Gunther and stuff. And it is strange that, and I'm sure Cena, like, I get the feeling it wouldn't even be a money thing with Cena, whether it's just WWE want to make these certain Raws feel more special and can sell them a bit more. It is a bit weird, but
yeah, no, I mean, it sounds like, again, his last year, he wanted to just do and help and do it all because he knows he won't be ever, he's made it very clear. And I know it's wrestling, but like, I don't know, like when Terry Funk retired a million times and came back, I don't know if necessarily everyone bought it. Whereas John Cena's every interview is like,
buy it.
I'm not ever He's not ever saying I won't show up. I won't ever, show up here for a rare appearance, this and that, whatever, drop an AA. But he is making it clear he won't ever have a wrestling match again. So I kind of believe that. So this is why they've treated this, or he's treating this like it's a pretty big deal. And now we know the match next weekend, Gunther versus John Cena. I mean, we expected it, but
I think it's the right move. Absolutely. I think actually one of the things I've really enjoyed about WWE recently has been this tournament. I think it's had some really solid matches. I thought Gunther LA Knight on Friday was pretty good. And even like people that I'm not as keen on, I thought the Gunther solo match was even pretty good the other week. Like I think the quality's been there. You've had those surprises. I did like the finish with Gunther tapping out LA Knight and then essentially saying like, I'm the one who's going to make you tap.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing where if we had that one face-to-face and it's up to Gunther to do the heavy lifting here, but that is a great thing to sell for this last match. Will Cena quit on his way out?
I'm like, imagine that. Like if you were to, I was thinking it and then they brought that into life with that storyline there. I think that's great.
I always find it funny when they say like, I'm the one who retired such and such. And it's not like it's Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels or Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, where the stipulation is if you lose, you retire. Like Cena's retiring, win or lose.
Anyway.
Goldberg was retiring, win or lose. But for Gunther to be like, I am the one man to tap out John Cena. And then he retired. Like that's huge. I don't think they'll do it, but it's definitely an interesting like little thread they've added to this story.
I mean, that's some revisionist history. He has tapped out. It's just been like since 23 years.
Yeah, like not since he's post Thugonomics.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great little wrinkle into that story. Gunther, I think, has just done everything asked of him. He's had such a weird year where it's like last year, it seemed he had all the WWE legends praising him, all the power, that IC run, the feud with Punk. That was a fun match. And then this year just seemed a bit weird. It felt like the Pat McAfee stuff, the Jey Uso stuff, the Goldberg stuff, and then now John Cena. It's pretty much like, hey, if you keep doing what we're asked, you'll probably reap the benefits, and he totally is.
I mean, I think, those matches have been a little odd, but they've all been big focused matches that he's been involved with without being in the title picture. And I think that shows how much stock they do have in him.
They love him.
And I think he is absolutely someone that, coming out of this, that I'm not too interested in Brock being back, but there's a handful of matches that are interesting to me. And I'd say Bron Breakker, Brock Lesnar. I'd say Femi, Brock Lesnar. And I'd say Gunther, Brock Lesnar. If you're having him around, I don't know how long, but they're 3 matches I'd like to see. And I think Gunther Lesnar is the most interesting one to me. So, yeah.
Yeah, that does make sense. Like, again, we could easily go back into Gunther being in a world title picture down the line. There's so many big matches.
And WWE champion one day.
Yeah, absolutely.
The proper one.
Yeah, exactly. That makes a lot of sense. I did think the John Cena, Joe Rogan thing, he's doing all these interviews, like the one they've been promoting with WWE. Like, I can't wait to check that out. He's been the most vulnerable. He's been the most open about a lot of things that he hasn't necessarily talked about. The whole Taiwan thing being an example of that. Like, again, it seemed when he sat down with Rogan and Hinchcliffe, it's like he went into their world where he started talking, started swearing a bit, started being a bit more like chilled out, like I said, broy a bit, and then he can kind of turn that robotic, like media trained thing back on.
He's still very much a company man though. Like I'm thinking of the heel turn where he's kind of criticizing it, but he's not putting any of the blame on creative, which we all know that was the big issue. He's like, we just didn't have the time to tell the story, and which is true. Like, they wanted him to, obviously he's going to be a babyface in his last match, so you've only got half a year. But him saying it really takes 5 years for a character to get over. I saw someone point out on Twitter, the Attitude Era was 5 years long.
Yeah.
It doesn't take 5 years.
He showed up in 2002 and was champ by 2005. So, like, what's he talking about?
And had 3 different versions of his character in that time, like, I definitely think that we'll be having our best and worst of in the beginning of January with John and Wei. And that's the heel turn's definitely something to talk about, because I mean, on this show on Up Next on Poisonrana, we've been throwing around ideas. Like, I've heard everyone say how they could have easily made this better. Yeah. And they didn't. So, but him being the company man, he didn't throw Triple H under the bus. He didn't throw Travis Scott under the bus. He was like, I realized I needed 5 years to tell this story. No, you didn't, John. No, you didn't, John. But bless you. Defending the company till the end.
Like, I'd say one of the biggest moments in wrestling, not just this year, just in full stop, John Cena turning heel. That was the start of it. And then the rest of it just fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
Cough, cough, Dwayne Johnson. So, like, I don't know. He definitely was still media trained, robotic John, but other things he felt a little bit more down to earth. But I love this last match set up for next week. I will be watching, definitely excited. We will be live on Sunday, like the time we are right now, 2 p.m., where you and I will be live talking all about John Cena's last match, Saturday night's main event. On top of that, NXT talent involved as well. So a perfect opportunity for us to talk about that. And we'll get into who and what is happening involving NXT at Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, we'll be getting Sol Ruca versus Bailey and Oba Femi versus Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, pretty cool. So very excited about that. So we'll be talking all about that. We will be live. If you don't follow us, search Poisonrana or go to poisonrana.ca. Check out all the other stuff. We're on Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff, Facebook. And we have a free feed, and we will be on YouTube live at 2 p.m. on Poisonrana. On the YouTube, audio will be up later on our free feed, but check us out if you haven't already. We cover tons of other stuff. In fact, after we finish talking about Deadline, we will go into some quick thoughts on AEW Dynamite, the Continental Classic, and whatever else is going on in the world. Oh, some Netflix, of course, Warner Brother, if you know what I mean. So lots of stuff to talk about, as we always do here on the pods, and appreciate all the love out there. While you're listening, check out all the other stuff we got going on. And a quick plug for our patreon.com/Poisonrana. $5 to get a month's access to become a friend, featuring hundreds of podcasts. And I got to shout out some new people signed up this week. They wanted to send some love for the holidays. You want to buy us a holiday gift? Buy yourself a month of podcasts, tons of different shows, and so many fun things. So check that out while you're listening today. And $5 to support 2 independent podcasters.
Yeah, we've had some great stuff up there recently. We were joined by Jesse from the Six a week ago for Up Yours Fall Brawl War Games 1993, the debut of the Shockmaster. Terrible event, but a lot of fun to talk about with Jesse, and made bad wrestling shows always make for good reviews.
We kept it in the 90s, though, because we went 30 years back, 30th anniversary of a movie that we both love for England, James. GoldenEye, 1995. It turned 30 years old. We talk all about the movie, Pierce Brosnan. We got the Bond girls. We bring back our Bond ratings. Plus, we talked about the N64 game and so much more. So a huge nostalgia fest talking about GoldenEye from 1995. And then we have a show. The Champ is here. We will be recording a new episode this week. Davie, I forget which reign this is. I know we've jumped around with The Rock. Which reign?
So this is episode 13, part 2, essentially, because the last episode was episode 13, which was the whole build to Rock v Cena 2. So we talked right from Rock being announced as the special guest host of WrestleMania 27 to their match in Miami at WrestleMania 28, and then the Rumble win, Rock beating Punk for the title, and then Cena finally capturing that 13th world title at WrestleMania 29. But we've got to talk about the 13th reign. So upcoming, we'll be talking all about John Cena, his, I think, trilogy of matches with Ryback, or it's at least 2 there.
Great.
And then the salmon suit retirement speech from Mark Henry leading to that title match. And then SummerSlam, Daniel Bryan versus John Cena.
Ooh, so a lot left in the tank in The Champ is here. But you just mentioned we did our most biggest episode yet, where Davie and we didn't get any guests to join us. We just spent over 3 hours talking about The Rock and John Cena feud from a few years ago, from way before WrestleMania 27 to all the way to WrestleMania 29. And in honor of John Cena's last match this week, I'm going to put that show out for free on the Poisonrana free feed this Tuesday. So subscribe. It's free. If you've never checked us out, if you're like, guys, I love you, but $5 is too much to ask. This monstrous podcast, The Champ is Here, episode 13, is coming out for free, where we talk all about The Rock and John Cena in honor of Cena's retirement. So check it out. And if you like what you hear, give us a follow, give us a subscribe, and DMs are always open. Appreciate the love.
Absolutely. We just uploaded episode 10 for free on our Poisonrana free feed. That's the Punk versus Cena Money in the Bank feud. That was the 10th championship reign. So go and check that out. It's absolutely free. And then over on the Patreon, we've got some more stuff coming up, as well as we just released our review of The Flash, joined by Emmy award-winning patron of ours, Rob McDonald. We've kind of covered every single Batman movie, and The Flash technically counts as a Batman movie. The return of Michael Keaton. We have, what's his name, Ben Affleck in there as well, and maybe some other cameos. We had a lot of fun chatting with Rob all about The Flash.
Yeah, if you're a superhero head and you like hearing all about that kind of stuff, we don't always talk about it, but we have reviewed every Batman movie over the years. So this one definitely finishes. We're caught up to date, including every single one on the big screen. So we've done the Mask of Phantasm, all of the 60s one. It started with that. So all the Bat reviews, including The Flash, and we had a ton of fun. We also talked about like upcoming superhero movies and stuff like that. So get your nerd on. But this whole month is crazy because it's the holidays. We got the Flash review out. We got The Champ is Here 13 episode B coming out. We also, the white whale of post wrestling and up next, Home Alone 3. We are reviewing Home Alone 3 with the greatest wrestling journalist of all time, John Pollock, who is gifting us his time to talk all about the best Home Alone movie in the entire franchise, right?
Yeah, we've really got to do a hard sell on this one because John didn't do the best job on advertising this on Rewinded Raw earlier in the week.
What did he say?
Because he was like, I've got to, I promised Braden and Davie that I'd record this Home Alone show with them, apparently. So I'm doing that this week. And Wade's like, oh, are you looking forward to it? He's like, no. So thank you.
I'm going to make this show go 4 hours.
This is the underrated Home Alone movie. And this is the first time John's going to be watching it. So it's going to
drag this review out for 4 hours.
Oh, like frame by frame analysis on Home Alone 3.
So what do you think of the score of this movie? What do you think of... We're going to go through everything, so it wastes
Did you
time.
notice that the kid's hair was parted the different way in this scene? What do you think that means?
You think John's
do you think it's a social commentary?
Yeah, definitely excited to.
Would Scarlett Johansson have been as big as she is today if it wasn't for her role in Home Alone 3?
Have you ever had a remote-controlled car? We'll ask him.
Have you ever slammed your penis in the lid of your toilet?
Find out. You've gone too far. Now you lost people. You got to watch Home Alone 3 to understand these references, but we will be joined. We've reviewed 1 and 2 on the Patreon, so it's finally happening. Home Alone 3 with John Pollock. We're recording that in about a week or so, so tons of time. Plus, last plug here before we talk about some NXT. December 21st, it is a Sunday. That's in a few weeks from now. We will be hosting virtually the Poisonrana Christmas party, and you are all invited. In fact, if you show up, there's a chance you could walk out BDE champion, because last Tuesday, Davie dropping the shocking bombshell that Fire Frank is now forced to talk about conspiracy. Davie is forcing Fire Frank.
Well, he's not defended it. We keep on doing like potential setup matches for him. It's like, no, put it on the line.
So Davie is going to host this trivia game. We're going to have tons of people invited, and you are all invited too. So please, we're not quite sure on a time, but possibly 4 p.m. Eastern time, we will start this thing. And we're going to invite some friends on. We're going to have some eggnog, bring your drinks, whatever it is, whatever your vice, whatever. Bring some party favors. We're going to play some games as always, but then Davie will be hosting a trivia game, and it will be contested for the BDE championship. And if Fire Frank does not show up, the title will be vacated and a new champion will be crowned regardless, because we're cruel people and that's how we work. He's lasted longer than Roman Reigns and that Universal title run. So Fire Frank will be putting the title on the line. Davie will be contesting a trivia game involving the year of 2025, wrestling, plus some other pop culture stuff that happened. So it's kind of like a big fat quiz of the year that involves wrestling. So if you want to win the BD title, join us. The audio will be up later in some way or shape or form, but we will be live on the Poisonrana YouTube starting 4 p.m., I think. And yeah, tune in.
Because we have such big egos here, we're even going to have a round on our own Patreon. The shows we covered in 2025.
That might give Frank Frank is a listener.
So you might need to restudy your Halloween Havoc 2000.
Wow. Very exciting stuff. So join us for the Christmas party on the 21st of December. It's a Sunday. So we'll see you there. Whether you want to play or not, you can tune in for the laughs and the cheer and the holiday spirit. So appreciate that. And yeah, love is all around this holiday season. And it starts with Poisonrana.ca. Well, we are your NXT friends, so I guess we should spend some time making that deadline to talk all about some NXT Deadline from San Antonio, Texas. Yeehaw. At the, am I saying this right? The Boeing Center at Techport.
Yes.
In San Antonio.
Did you notice they've changed it back to NXT Deadline?
I did, yes. It's sometimes tough looking up the socials of these events that they do, because they've been flip-flopping this around on us. Yeah. WWE Halloween Havoc and NXT Halloween Havoc. I'm like, make up your GD mind already. But this is NXT Deadline, San Antonio, Texas, the home of Shawn Michaels. We're here in San Antonio, and we kick things off for the first time in PLE history. The NXT Championship is starting the show. They really made a big deal of this on Tuesday and tonight.
It was funny because on Tuesday, like Ava said it like it was this big like prize almost, and they're both like, "Fuck yeah, early night." It's like us when it's a pre-taped NXT, and like, "Fuck yeah, we get to finish before midnight tonight." Yeah.
Well, I mean, do you think Ricky and Oba started the show in like the world, like the Brock Lesnar thing, where it's like, if I'm not closing the show, I'm starting so I can leave? Is that?
Well, Oba had to stick around, but I think Ricky, after his little scene with Javon, was out of there.
Maybe he stuck around too. But also, what is this? I've seen this being brought up about John Cena, also Bailey talking about that in some interviews this week about you should always stay for the whole show.
Absolutely, like that. That's something I've heard for a long time, and I think you should. I think everyone should.
But we go to enough wrestling where halfway through the show we notice certain wrestlers leaving.
Oh yeah,
in their flip flops. We start the show with the NXT Championship match. The champion Ricky Saints defending against the challenger Oba Femi in a rematch from the last time where Ricky defeated Oba with a tornado DDT for those keeping score. And not only is this for the NXT title on the line here, but is this even a higher like stipulation and a higher praise, a higher honor? The winner of this match will also face Cody Rhodes at Saturday night's main event, meaning the NXT champ versus the WWE champ
in a non-title match.
Non-title match.
Yes.
Wow. Pretty crazy here. Booker T, who is not the biggest Ricky Saints fan, I guess that is safe to say. We missed you on Tuesday, Book, but he's back here. He says that he doesn't think Ricky can beat Oba. The storyline for this is Ricky doesn't know if he is confident enough to beat Oba Femi, when you may have just heard me correctly. The last time they fought, he beat him with a tornado DDT.
4 tornado DDTs and 1 on the floor. Yeah.
So he's very nervous that he cannot beat.
Yeah, he's like, was I just a fluke? Am I a flash in the pan? Can I do it again?
So Booker T...
And turns out he is.
Booker T already on one tonight. He's making up for lost time on Tuesday. Says, "The eyes, they never lied, Chico." Quoting some Scarface here because Ricky looks nervous. The ref is also nervous because he holds the belt upside down. The match starts here at a pretty slow pace, but eventually Oba gets the best of a test of strength and starts to pec flex a little bit. Ricky comes back with an arm breaker and then starts working on the arm of Oba, does his old school rope walk arm attack here. And Vic and Booker are already bickering here. He says something about like, "Oh, you don't even care about Ricky Saints." And Booker's like, "Yeah, it's not my job to care about Ricky Saints. You shouldn't care about him either." And Vic's like, "Yo, man, like, chill." Stop.
Until he's done reality of wrestling, I don't give a fuck about Ricky Saints.
Until he works my school and my show, fuck him. Ricky hits a drop kick off the top, but then Oba comes back with this huge military press, dropping Ricky on his face.
Oh, it looks fantastic.
Very nice here. Oba then just throwing Ricky around. There's some big strikes here. There's like a clothesline into the corner. Booker is yelling, "Boom shakalaka." Ricky then comes back with a series of kicks like an enziguri and then goes up top for that old school again. Instead, turns it into a Rana and then a spear, but Oba kicks out of it. Ricky eventually hits a stunner for a 2 count, but not enough. Oba rolls out of the ring and Ricky hits a tope to the outside, and the ref starts counting pretty fast, I might add. He gets to a 9 and Oba makes it in just in time, but is hit with a famouser, but he kicks out. Oba eventually gets up and hits a big ending here. Shout out Big E, but Ricky kicks out of it. I'm not a fan of that move. It's got to be one of my least favorite. I think the overdrive is a better move than the big ending. It just looks like
I personally like both moves.
If you're in a real fight, I don't imagine anyone hitting any of these 2 things, but it's wrestling. So, but the big ending didn't look like it looked worse somehow here with Oba. But eventually Ricky and him are on the outside and Ricky hits the DDT, like you said, onto the steps, which is what he did in the last match. So he has this offense again and he brings Oba back into the ring, but Oba kicks out of it. And somehow Ricky goes for Rochambeau, which is his running dominator. And Ricky, a lot smaller.
He got him on his shoulders.
He picks him up perfectly.
But I was impressed. He got him up there.
Like he lifts him and hoists him up on his shoulders for the dominator, the Rochambeau. but Oba slips out. But you're right. Like he could have hit the move on him. He had him up, which is very impressive. Oba slips out of this, picks him up, power bombs him. Ricky kicks out, but Oba keeps his cool, keeps his composure. The ruler picks him up again and hits a second sit-out powerbomb. This time, the fall from grace connecting, and Oba Femi pins Ricky Saints to regain the NXT Championship in 17 minutes, 17 seconds in a match that was, in my opinion, far better than their last encounter.
Yeah, I thought it was a good match. There wasn't anything necessarily wrong about it, but I just didn't emotionally particularly get invested in it. I don't know what it is with these two. Like, I like both guys, but there's something about them against each other that I find just a little bland. There's something missing.
Is it Ricky being here? Like, is it Ricky?
I mean, I think it's the two babyface dynamic, and I think that's an issue with Oba Femi. Like, he's such a dominant beast. Like, for this to work, you either want Ricky to be a chicken shit heel or Ricky to be the ultimate underdog. But instead, you've got a bit of a split crowd, which means neither guy is particularly getting the like investment from the crowd.
Actually,
and I felt the pin was really flat. Like it was 1, 2, 3, and you hear that third pin, and everyone's like, "Oh, okay, I guess we're going back to Oba."
It seemed like Oba was the babyface. I feel like the crowd, first of all, I didn't think was necessarily that loud for this show. Now, in certain moments, in certain peaks of the matches that we get to, they get loud and they build up. But Ricky got like no pop. They were all for Oba. I thought, like, it sounded as if this heel turn should be coming because he didn't necessarily come across as the babyface. And the storyline is he's not even confident that he can beat Oba. So it was a little weird with the story. I didn't necessarily love this match, but if I, again, compare it to the last time where Ricky won, I really didn't like that one. Whereas I thought at least this one I didn't know who was going to win. We just assumed Ricky was turning heel and regaining, and that was not the case here. So at least they did some fun stuff. And I was impressed when Ricky got him up for that Rochambeau. So one day he's got to hit that move on him. But after the match, he offers his handshake and Oba shakes his hand. So this was an opportunity, I guess, to do the heel turn, but it didn't quite come yet. But I think we're eventually going to have to get there with some sort of slow burn. But
now I have seen some reports that there are some potential call-ups happening soon. Do you think, like, firstly, do you think they just gave Oba the title so you get Oba and Cody Rhodes? Then that's the match they wanted to do.
Wasn't that kind of tipping you off? Like, for me, I was like, oh, the winner faces Cody? You mean Ricky Saints' boy, Cody Rhodes? It did make me think, like, oh, would they go that route? Because now you have Oba. Like, what happens in this match? Is Oba win?
I mean, you could have Ricky turn heel at Saturday night's main event.
Sure.
Maybe.
Sure.
I can see Ricky moving up soon, and I think this is a great way to get Oba noticed on the main roster in a match with Cody.
Yeah.
But like, Oba disappeared for so long that I think all of us were like, oh, okay, he's disappearing.
Yeah.
They're figuring out a way to get him on the main roster. And it just feels like we're going backwards, like, especially with the result of the Men's Iron Survivor. I feel like we've just been circling around the same people for the whole year. And therefore, I think the Oba win, I think for the NXT product, I feel it would have been more interesting with Ricky winning. And I think that heel turn would have helped things a lot. I don't know. I just felt a little flat after this. It's like, okay, we're going backwards now.
I'm not upset with the title change because, like, we need to get back on track of the story of hopefully 2026. Now they will announce the match for New Year's Eve, and I'm getting ahead of myself. But like, the story, if we're circling back, should be Javon Evans on the chase for the NXT title. Now we've done it already. We've literally done it already. So to do it again, yeah, it's circling around and doing it again. But does this mean Oba's not going up, and is this Ricky going up to the main roster instead?
It could be a short title reign, like,
or does Ricky get it back? Like, I don't know. I do imagine a Ricky heel turn with them, especially with what we get a little bit later on with just a backstage segment. But
could we have Ricky costing Oba against Javon? And then we get, but we've got the Tony D'Angelo involvement as well. Like,
right.
I'm not sure. I just feel when Javon wins, it should be against the top heel. I don't like the babyface dynamic, which they've done quite a bit. Even with Trick, it took a long time before they fully pulled the trigger with the heel turn with him, right? Like it's felt very just murky with not clear. Like we've had the whole Oba run, Oba Myles Borne and Oba Tony D'Angelo in his North American title run. It's been these weird babyface v babyface matches, and I find it hard, like story-wise, to get as invested into that. And I think Javon chasing like a top heel who's holding the title hostage and then dethroning them at Stand and Deliver or whatever, just story-wise makes so much more sense.
Well, especially the last few weeks, we've just been saying, oh, wouldn't Ricky heel turn spice his character up and give him more of a character and, I don't know, just way more interesting. And they've kind of already dangled that Javon babyface and Ricky heel kind of dynamic if they were to go to that, which again, we'll have a little bit of a backstage segment, but it is weird. I would imagine like if I was them, you'd have heel Ricky going all the way till Stand and Deliver, and then Javon gets his moment there, right?
Yeah.
So not quite sure, unless they're like, nah, actually Ricky's the one we're going to bring up instead of Oba, and that's why they flipped this, but we'll have to see. Maybe there is involvement. I find it weird that it's Oba versus Cody, because like you said, unless someone interferes or it's a double count, like you can't have Cody beat Oba because it's like, why? And you obviously like,
I mean, Oba just beating Cody.
That would be crazy, but they should.
Would be like huge, that's how you establish a guy.
Yeah.
And
like, that sounds crazy, but it's like, you should just to like really establish him.
It's difficult, right? Like someone like I always talk about it like football, like how you have the different divisions. You got the Premier League and the Championship and then Division 1, etc., etc. Now, Premier League is the top. You can, like, a Premier League team should beat the winners of the Championship. That doesn't mean that that's not burying the Championship, but it's just the divisions. And main roster is a division above NXT. So I never really buy into they buried this NXT guy because he lost on Raw. It's like, yeah, he's the champion of your developmental company. Like, he should be losing to a guy on Raw. But someone like Oba, the size of him, how you're going to want to present him, like, you're going to want him to come in like an absolute beast, just steamrolling people. And having him losing his first match on the main roster, I think that's a Ricky Saints can afford a loss, I think, is what I'm getting out. An Oba, he's so much about presentation.
That's what I'm saying.
I think it's a tricky thing to book.
Yeah, it is a weird thing to book because you've tried to... Oba has lost in NXT. Like we said, the last time against Ricky from... Sorry, how many DDTs?
He's lost twice, right? He's lost 4 DDTs.
And then he lost to Tony D'Angelo. How many DDTs did he hit him with? I forget. But he's lost a few times, but they have protected him. And it would be weird just having Cody hit the crossroads and pin him. Because it's like, well, wait, he's this like dominant. He's the ruler. So unless we do get some sort of Ricky involvement,
or Drew McIntyre, that story's still going on.
Yeah, like a beatdown, a double count out, or something to get a non-finish to protect both champions, I think is something they will do, just because, they have booked themselves into a weird situation. Now, how upset were you that Omos didn't show up here?
Maybe Saturday night's main event. It's still coming.
He helps Oba
It's
win.
happening at some point, and I will get my flowers.
You're about to, just say at some point Omos is going to show up in a place he probably shouldn't, and that's what's going to happen. Now, he's already showed up in AAA. He's been in Japan. Now, where else? Where else is he going to show up?
Noah, he's been in. Japan.
Yeah. Wow. The Royal Rumble. He returns.
Sure.
And he'll throw Chris Jericho out.
I thought Chris Jericho was going to TNA.
He can still... No, he can still do both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right. Look, Leon Slater's the X Division champion. He's in our main event of NXT.
Yeah, true,
it's fine.
True.
It's okay. Omos should go to... Okay. Oh, did we just... Okay. TNA. Jericho with Omos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look what we just did. AMC, you're welcome. Print money.
If in doubt, Omos. You know?
AMC TV, Jericho's like, Omos, stay in the house. Stay in the house, Omos. I'm trying to think of Carl. Any other Walking Dead references? It's the only show I know. But anyways, Jericho and Omos, book it, please. We go to, so yeah, Ricky lost. I was kind of shocked, I guess. I think it was a bit of a like, oh, didn't expect that. I didn't love this match, but again, I really loved this more than the last time, so I'll give them that for sure. So Oba wins, and he gets his match with Cody Rhodes next week. But we go from that, we go to a sit-down interview with Kelly Kincaid sitting down with Kendal Gray and Ren Sinclair, and Kendal being the one who's been added to this match. Now, she's only been on NXT TV a handful of times, but she's made a name for herself in Evolve, being the Evolve Women's Champion. And she's asked about how she's feeling. She says that this all doesn't feel like it's real. John Cena picking me to be in this is crazy. She says years ago when she was 8, she went to SmackDown and her dad got her a "You Can't See Me" chain. And she's now handpicked by Cena to be in this, and she thinks that's pretty crazy. She mentions that she's been an athlete her whole life in every sport, and it shows clips of her wrestling, swimming, all this kind of stuff, and says now it's WWE that she's ready to dominate. When Ren kind of steps in when asked about a game plan and says she doesn't need a game plan, but I will be out there with her tonight. So Ren QCC in full force with Kendal Gray here tonight. But yeah, fun little hype up. I think this was done, especially they do it later with Dion Lennox for the men's. Yep. These are two superstars who maybe you're someone who cherry picks and doesn't watch every Tuesday, but you may check out some of the PLEs. A question you may have asked yourself, it's your own fault for not watching, but hey, who is this? Yeah. And I feel like they at least explained the missing links here of, okay, you might not understand who this is, but this is who they are. And I thought they did a good job of that.
I think as well, this showed that the partnership of Ren and Kendal has really worked. I think Ren is like quite natural when it comes to talking and the character work and stuff. And she's like, Kendal's benefiting from Ren's personality, I think. And people are like, people like Ren naturally. And I think people are warming to Kendal as well. And her wrestling speaks for itself. So yeah, I thought this made sense. As you said, people that don't necessarily watch the week-to-week TV, who is this new person? You got a little snapshot here.
I think after watching tonight, if you've never seen Kendal Gray, I think you become a fan.
Yes,
instantly after watching the Iron Survivor match. We'll get into in a sec. But we go from that to backstage. Sol Ruca is on FaceTime with Zarya, and Zarya is not even there. She says, "Sorry, I'm not there." And Sol is like, "Oh, I would have loved to have you here," which is weird because I don't know if Sol rewatched what happened on Tuesday, but your girl tried to spear you.
Yeah.
Saying.
Yeah.
But Zarya says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't think you wanted me there." And Sol is like, "You're kind of right, but I got this. So sorry, I got to go to my match," essentially is what she says. So this kind of was like, oh, does this mean Zarya is showing up to spear Sol Ruca?
I mean, apart from the Tony D'Angelo thing, I was surprised. I thought this show felt like it was going to be quite angle heavy going into it. Like we called the Ricky turn, we called the like Zarya or Sol turning on each other, the implosion of that team. We didn't get either. So yeah, that's still brewing.
Well, speaking of still brewing, Hank and Tank are living it up in Japan. We see that this is a great little like highlight video package of their entire trip to Noah. We see them getting on a flight. They both say that they've never even left the country before, and their first time is getting this passport and going to Japan. And is it Tank who brings up circulation socks?
Yeah.
Now I know a few friends always wear circulation socks. Could you explain, like I'm 5, of what these actually do?
Compression socks, right?
Compression. Oh, I thought he said circulation socks.
Well,
same thing.
Yeah, because it's something to do with high altitude and your I can't remember the
blood vessels.
Thrombosis, deep vein thrombosis, where if you're not moving around and you can have issues with your legs, and it can get pretty serious. So yeah, just help circulation and blood flow and all that, because you're sitting still for 10, 12, 13 hours.
You thought you were tuning into a NXT review, and instead you got some
science, bitch. Yeah. I'm sure these two were super obnoxious in Japan. Like, first time they've ever been abroad, was it, or whatever?
Okay,
like,
I love these guys, and I was in Japan this summer, and I saw a million different Americans doing exactly the same thing. But I followed their trip on social media the last what feels like a few months. The funniest is them posting their food.
Yeah.
So they'll have nights where they're like at like lit steakhouses, which I'm sure like the wrestlers took them, or like Ribera, which their steak kind of looks mid, but so many times they were posting at McDonald's.
it makes me so angry. Like, I get so upset when, like, I remember being on holiday. We were only away for like 2 nights, somewhere in Romania, and a friend of mine goes, and there's so many things wrong with this sentence. Oh, I saw a TGI Fridays down the road. I could really do with a good steak tonight. Like, we're here for 2 days. We are not going to TGI Fridays. TGI Fridays anywhere does not have good steak. And we're having some Romanian food. Like,
I wish we had. Is TGI Fridays gone now? I think, like, at least in the States, a lot of them shut down.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought they still do their like bartender of the year competitions and that. No,
I know they went through some tough times this year, but we don't have TGI Fridays in Canada. But I know I tried to find one last time in the States, and a lot of them were shut down. But I know there is one in Tokyo Dome, so maybe Hank and Tank went to that one. But
it's still in Niagara.
Really?
In Niagara, yeah.
Oh, is that that's the only one in Canada, maybe, because it's right on the border. But like we never had them in Toronto.
We've got some in London.
Well, Hank and Tank had a good time. McDonald's in Japan does have different things, but I know what you mean still.
Try it once, but yeah. But it did. This was like the reverse of. Have you seen it? It keeps popping up on my Instagram for some reason. The sumo wrestlers, their visit to London.
Yes.
This was like the opposite of that.
They go in Japan.
Yeah.
Shout out my boy Tigre from Wyoming Mask, because he makes his appearance here. They show him.
Oh, cool.
If you look closely, you can see the Poisonrana sticker the store. If you ever go to Shibuya, El Tigre is the fucking man. Love his.
Also, if you go to a thrift store in Markham and Lawrence, you can find some of our merchandise. Apparently,
someone's thrifted a Poisonrana shirt. Therefore, we've made it, folks. We have made it. Scarborough, Ontario. Someone donated a Poisonrana shirt. Hopefully, it wasn't my mom, but I think it was from one of our events.
So my friend took a photo and sent it to me, and she was like, "This is yours, right?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't know why it's there." And then she said to me yesterday, "I was thinking of buying it back for you, but then I thought I should just support your business." And I was like, "Well, we don't have a merch store anymore, so if you're back in that thrift store, please pick it up."
Advertising.
Yeah.
I know when I worked for the law, I came across my own face once in a Value Village, because we had that shirt with all our faces on it. And one day I was like, it was really terrifying. It was an experience for sure. But shout out Value Village at Markham and Lawrence somewhere. Shout out Scarborough. But shout out Hank and Tank. They had a lot of fun. They became tag champions. And then Hank and Tank learned the same amount of Japanese I learned in my travels. Just say arigato gozaimasu to everything and you'll be okay. Sumimasen and arigato gozaimasu and you're okay. Hank and Tank return this Tuesday on NXT. So I guess they lost their title.
Huge episode.
I think we have missed them. We have absolutely no tag teams in NXT other than them and Dark State.
They have dropped the titles, yes.
They have dropped the Noah titles so they can come back and fight for the NXT tag titles. So Hank and Tank returning on Tuesday. We go to our next match. Now this one, if you're a cherry picker, you should probably watch. It's the Women's Iron Survivor match. Would say this is a recommended match to check out here. We kick things off. This is the Iron Survivor, meaning it goes 25 minutes in total. If you don't know the rules, this is a match stipulation that I think we kind of created in the pandemic on our WWE 2K, and then someone must have heard us keep talking about it. And
they did do the actual, was it 4-way or 5-way Iron Man match on NXT?
Yes.
And then they kind of perfected it with this Iron Survivor concept.
So 2 people start, and then in 5 minutes, the third entrant, and then another 5 minutes, the fourth, and then the fifth. And then there's a 10 minutes extra, meaning a 25-minute total time of the match. And by the end, whoever has the most pinfalls or submissions or points wins and is the Iron Survivor. But anytime you get pinned or tap out, you go into the penalty box for 90 seconds. So we start things off with Kelani Jordynne, the former Knockouts champion, taking on Kendal Gray, the current Evolve champion. This is giving me feels when you watch AEW and it's like, hey, this wrestler is in a match to win an opportunity to have a shot at the title, but they're also already a champion. It's definitely she kept holding it up, and I'm like, all right, I guess you're the champion, but you're in this match to fight for like the real title, I guess. But Kelani Jordynne and Kendal Gray start things off here. Should shout out Ren Sinclair's Texas glitter shorts. Very nice. Everything is bigger in Texas, but love the glittery Texas shorts. Out of nowhere, Booker T tells Vic Joseph to relax. And I mean, talk about calling
the kettle black.
Yeah. Vic is like, dude, you're the one literally fanning yourself, moving back and forth. Why don't you calm down?
We've recently barred someone from Gabby's, and he was the loudest, most obnoxious person. Like, you can hear him from the other end of the restaurant. And there was one night that he kicked off at someone for being too loud at the bar. And we were like, excuse me? And that's definitely what I got here with these two. I'm like, Booker, you don't have the right to tell anyone ever to relax, calm down.
Calm down. It's like, geez, you're never on 1. You're always on like 11. Someone in the chat, shout out Noon Mountain, says Iron Survivor is similar to TNA's King of the Mountain match. I joked that the first time they did that, but really the only thing similar is
just a penalty box,
because TNA's King of the Mountain is you got to hang the belt. I'm sorry, that's dumb.
Got to do some decorating.
This is like an Iron Man match, whereas the King of the Mountain, you got to literally put up some decorations to win the match. It's like, come on, that's not as bad as their reverse battle royal, but like, yeah, we should do a best match ever King of the Mountain one day.
I don't think I've ever seen one.
Really? Ever?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
why would I? I wasn't watching TNA.
TNA AMC, January shows coming soon. We need to do some TNA.
Do something TNA. Yeah, for sure.
Well, Iron Survivor, Kelani Jordynne, Kendal Gray start things off here. There's lots of back and forth chain wrestling here. They keep kind of countering each other's moves. Eventually, there's a backbreaker from Kelani, but then Gray hits a power slam and snap pins Kelani here pretty quickly in this match. A bit of an upset here, shocking Kelani. And as this is happening, Jordynne Grace enters the match now. So the 3 of them are going at it. Well, Kalani's in the penalty box first. Jordynne Grace hits a Vader bomb to Gray for a 2 count. And then this very interesting like stretch where she's standing above Gray and like wrenching on the arms and the shoulders, but it's broken up when Kelani comes back into the ring. There's like sit out power bombs. It's all chaos here. But eventually Kelani and Kendal are going back and forth with these like reversals, and it's a reversal to a reversal that allows Kelani to get a point here. So she gets a point on Kendal Gray. Now Grace and Kelani are going at it, kind of rekindling their feud that's been going on with the Kelani execution for a near fall, and then hits a corkscrew to the outside, which is very nice. But then all 3 are in the corner when there's the Tower of Doom spot here. And as they're all laid out, Lola Vice comes out at number 4. Booker T talking all about the Cholula Green. Yeah, he's telling someone else to calm down here. Yeah. Think about that, what he's about to do in this. Lola's on fire, hits a back fist to Gray, and then pins her right away to get a point. So there's a 1-1-1 at this point. She does her ass shake and hits the ass attack, and this is where Booker T turns into Quagmire from Family Guy here. And that's literally not even a joke. He literally just says giggity, giggity, giggity. So he's Quagmire. Lola's hitting these ass attacks, but then Kendal Gray, if you didn't know who she was before this match, I mean, this is the one. This is the breakout performance. A flying armbar. That was a thing of beauty here when eventually it's broken up. And Grace counters this armbar into like a power bomb, but then that is countered into a roll up, and Kendal Gray gets her second point in this matchup here. I thought the sequences were crazy with Kendal, Grace, and Kelani and Lola. We're just all going at it. This pisses off Grace. So when she comes back from this penalty box, she is like a wrecking ball. She's hitting these sit out power bombs. She hits this suplex on Lola Vice. Lola goes for a roundhouse. I don't think I've ever seen this before, this type of suplex that she hit. Eventually hits a rack bomb on Kelani as well. Like there was just all this stuff. But Kelani does this crossbody and ends up getting countered, and Grace pins her. So now it's 1-1-1-2. I think Gray has the advantage. When Sol Ruca, the final entrant in this match, enters, and as she runs down the ring, she goes for some sort of springboard. Kelani, who's on the outside, grabs her by the leg and jams it into the apron, which is like this injured knee and this whole storyline with Sol Ruca. So right away, Sol Ruca has been taken out of the match. Oh, didn't you? This is where I was like, all right, Zarya, where are you? But no, too bad. Zarya could have. I think that's the storyline that we're going to hear on Tuesday. Is Zarya's like, shit, you know, wrestlers always say, bring your gear. Keep your gear in your car, folks, because Zarya could have just taken their spot right here. But Sol does come back, but still, she's taken out of the match for right now. We have Kelani and Grace. Grace hits the "you can't see me" and goes for the 5-knuckle shuffle, but it's Kelani who ends up finishing the spot here, but then gets thrown out of the ring when, oh, look, it's Sol Ruca coming back and hits a double soul snatcher and pins both Lola and Kelani to get 2 points instantly, numbers on the board, Sol Ruca. And then she remembers, oh, my leg hurts, and then does the single leg kip up, which I still do. That thing is crazy. Let alone, have you ever just tried to do a kip up? Let alone with one leg.
I had to do one for a show once, and there was like 6 of us had to all do it at the same time. And I think maybe one night we all actually managed to do it. One of us would always fall on an ass, and quite often it was me. They're hard.
Like, yeah, kip ups are already insane, and wrestlers can do them. They're in physical, amazing shape, but to do it with one leg, with the strength ridiculous. There, Sol Ruca's got them like Venom symbiote leg muscles. Like she's just jacked. To be able to do this is crazy. So she does this kip up and she's back in control. Eventually there's all these submission holds. Sol Ruca showing off some submission, a dragon suplex into it looks like kind of like a camel clutch, while Grace has a single leg on Gray. And then this is broken up by Lola, who just starts to fire off these kicks. Eventually it's Kendal who hits the running wheelbarrow into the Shades of Gray, the flatliner combo move there. That looks awesome. But on the pin, Kelani breaks it up, and then Kelani pins Grace. So it's 2-2-2. There's like a bit of a 3-way tie going here, but it's Kelani who stole that from Kendal here. And then the crowders start going pretty loud here. I thought this is where they definitely started to pick up. They remind us 3 minutes remaining in this match, and we don't have someone in the lead quite yet. We get all the crazy moonsaults to the outside. Grace hits this blockbuster slam, the rack bomb, and then gets a point there where now it's a 4-way tie, meaning 2-2-2. Then it's a 5-way tie after there's Lola who gets the roundhouse kick to Kendal. So then it's everyone's tied here. There's a soul snatcher on the outside. There's a 450. Everything is popping
the soul snatcher definitely hurt Soul more than I can't remember who took it, but
to the outside,
you're taking a flipping bump on the floor there. Yeah, and the other person just a front face bump. But
so the clock is running down, and you're like, hey, what could possibly happen? That someone like at this point, it's like, are we gonna get another 5 minutes? What's gonna happen? Where Kelani hits a 450, but Grace breaks it up, meaning Lola's now left alone in the ring, and Kendal Gray off the top rope hits this jumping Shades of Gray, a jumping flatliner, downward spiral, and in like seconds remaining in this match, Kendal Gray pins Lola Vice to get the extra point, meaning Kendal Gray with 3 points wins the match in 25 minutes, and Kendal Gray is your Iron Survivor in one hell of a match here. I mean, this stipulation has definitely become a calling card of NXT in the last little while. And I know we were predicting this one to steal the show, but yeah, robbery because they stole the show with this one.
Like, I know you had the little angle at the end, but this for me should have main evented the show.
Yeah.
I thought this was easily match of the night. I think it's such a fun gimmick, this match stipulation. And I actually think it's a great way to get people over as well, because you're doing the race against the time. I think Ren Sinclair, who didn't win, I think was last year's, but she definitely came out with a lot of support from that crowd due to this match. Just some great stuff here. I think the penalty box, especially early on, works because it means you're not having people sleeping on the outside, which you quite often get in these multi-person matches. You know, you pin someone. I think Jordynne Grace took the first pin, and then it was Kelani. But yeah, but then it means you've got a one-on-one again while they're in there. And I thought they played a couple of times quite nicely with, you know, a submission and someone's not able to break it up because they're in the box. Kendal Gray, like, she's been impressing every week we've seen her. I think this was the real coming out for her. And yeah, like, part of me is like, just put the title on her.
Absolutely. 100%.
I think there's so much momentum with her right now. I think we were saying probably Jordynne Grace would win, and then you continue the Kelani Jordynne feud over the title, but you can still have that feud going without the title. And I think of the rest of the people in this match, you know, Zarya and Soul already have their story going. So Lola just had her title match recently. Kendal makes a lot of sense, and she's really impressed. Like, all five of these women were just fantastic. The pacing, and I don't think anything will quite beat the Trick Williams like falls. I think was that last year or the year before. But this was really close, and to have the timing down like this, you know, we see the clock the whole time. This isn't a gimmick time. This isn't like, you know, no clock and the pin and then the bell. This is right to the last second, and timing was excellent. I thought all five women were great. My one little criticism would be some of the falls. You know, we say this in a lot of eliminator matches or multi-person matches when suddenly people are getting pinned way easier than they would in a regular match. And I thought a couple of the pinfalls were a little bit like that. But that's a nitpick. I thoroughly enjoyed this.
Like, this was my favorite Iron Survivor they've done.
Really?
I think I like this more than the one with Trick, even more so. Like, I thought all five women brought their different like specialties into the match, but all of them are just so talented in so many different things. Like I said, Sol Ruca was doing submissions. You had Kendal Gray jumping off the top, doing that flatliner at the end. Like, I don't know, there's so much of it going on. Dare I say, I think this might be, if you were to say of 2025 NXT matches, is there a better match than this in NXT?
I find that every year when we're putting our list together, and being like, what do you vote for? We normally throw about 25 matches down and then let our listeners vote for their top 10. The Iron Survivor always makes it into that shortlist because it's just so fun. And I think you put the right people in there. Yeah, I can't think of many matches better than this year in NXT.
I think NXT matches in 2025. What comes to mind of like, oh, that was the match of the year of NXT in 2025? I can't off the top of my head, and we watch this show every week. We cover everything. I feel like in 2025 NXT, the PLEs haven't necessarily hit the same way, but we knew going into this, like the build up last Tuesday was like, okay, there was a summit and they're talking whatever, but we knew that going into this match, they would deliver. With the stipulation has absolutely worked with the Iron Survivor, but I would say this was my favorite one. And it's to all the women involved. They all hit their stride, and all their parts were great. But Kendal Gray is just so awesome. And in a short amount of time, like, where did she come from? Did she from this planet? Like, insane.
I'm getting to the point right now with WWE where I think it would just be more interesting if it was just women's wrestling entertainment, you know, because the women's talent is so much better than the men right now, I think.
Yeah, like this showed for sure.
It feels like we've like flipped, you know. Back in the days, it was the divas would come out and just pose and do a simulated wrestling match that there's not really a whole lot of wrestling, but they'll just stand around and look pretty and pose. Now I feel it's the men doing that. The men come out, they look at their hands, they do bloodline law, they do melodramatic acting, hit a couple of moves, and there's a moment. Whereas the women are out there fucking killing it with the actual wrestling. I find the women's wrestling so much more entertaining than the men's right now in WWE.
This was easily the match of the night. It should have been the main event, but I obviously understand. Like the men's one we'll talk about is fun as well. It's a good match, but out of everything NXT, I would put this up there as probably the best match they've produced in 2025. The fact at the top of my head, nothing comes close to this when I think back to some of the NXT title matches with Oba Femi. Okay, maybe the Javon Oba. Did we get that in 2025? Like that was pretty good, but I'd say this was up there. If you had to pick an NXT match in 2025, I'd say this one. So the women killed it here. And if I was booking the show, New Year's Evil is official. JC Jane, who comes out afterwards with Fatal Attraction. And Fatal Influence.
Yeah.
Good movie though.
Who had a little stare down after with.
So the match is official. Like I would just do it. I would just have Kendal Gray beat JC Jane for the title. Like she is super hot right now. The only thing, like I said, she's celebrating and the ref gives her Evolve title and she's celebrating like, I did it. I've won the Evolve title. That's what this match was for. It's like, well, actually it's the number one contender for the other one, but I feel it
would be good to move Fallon and JC up soon as well. So this is JC's second reign. I don't think it necessarily has to be a long one.
I want Kendal Gray to win. Shades of gray area, NXT, the black and gray era is going to happen. But yeah, I would totally like to see that because she's, since the last few months of seeing her on TV, she is just like steals the show. So, and she did here, all five of them. This was an awesome Iron Survivor match. So we shall see. Where do we go? I know they announced Tuesday, Jordynne Grace versus Kelani, but also now the stuff you have Sol Ruca, Zarya, that feud can continue or start, I guess.
Yeah, it's really, of these five, Lola Vice is the odd one out with not much of a story going on, although she's pretty busy doing all the AAA stuff.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Well, we go from that. We go to our commercial breaks, I guess. But instead of commercials, I get these Evolve videos.
Yeah.
So first was
this jacked ginger bloke.
Yeah, well, first was this guy, Drake Monroe. This is the New Orleans dude.
Right.
The swamp guy. He says he's from New Orleans or Louisiana and says he wants to make his state and his city proud and his community proud, and he loves Gators.
Sorry, Drake Morrow.
Sorry, spell check.
We've got a Drake Morrow and a Blake Monroe.
Sorry, yeah. So Drake Monroe? No, Drake Morrow. Right. Well, that one, I like Gators and people who wrangle Gators, and it was interesting, I guess. But
who was that guy on Tough Enough?
I thought it was the same guy, to be honest. For the few first seconds of this, I was like, oh, it's that guy, the Gator guy. And then I realized, oh, wait a second. That's two different people. But the real story is it's Gal, because I've never seen this guy before. I'm sorry. I love Tubi. I do watch Tubi. I just don't watch Evolve on Tubi. But dare I say, I might have to after watching this promo from tanned, jacked, and ready to attack. It's Gal. And it's this.
Sorry, what's his name? Gal?
It's Gal.
It's
like G-A-L.
Okay.
Like I'd say Gale, but the way he said it's Gal. He's got like some sort of accent, right? Like I don't know if he's like European or something, but he pulls up the Studometer. Now this guy is doing his best Jersey Shore impersonation. I guess that's the easiest way to explain. He's like a ginger bloke with some muscles, and he's talking about how you got to have baby oil, which is I just finished the Diddy doc. Not a great week for baby oil, but he still uses it, I guess. He mentioned some favorite tag teams on the Studometer and mentions the Steiner brothers, who were always tanned, jacked, and ready to attack. He gives them a 9, saying that they always looked good. I think because he was more so focused on Scott Steiner with his tiger and his jacked arms. But then he gives the Dudley boys a 6 because he says they weren't that jacked. Anyways, it says watch Evolve on Tubi. It's Gal. I was sold, to be honest. Between this guy and the swipe right Tinder guys, maybe I gotta watch him. And Kendal Gray, like, hey, maybe Evolve is the sleeper hit. So I'm gonna spend an hour this week and check out It's Gall because he won me over with this stupid gimmick. But yeah, what did you think?
I'm probably not watching this show, but
right.
yeah, he came across well, I guess. In this, he of all these little Evolve promos, he was the one that stood out the most. Just looks obnoxious and hateable, but yeah, carried himself well.
Well, you can watch on Tubi, which is great. Love me some Tubi. We get John Cena talking about how wrestling used to be in carnivals. Thought this was the Joe Rogan podcast again, but it's the other one that they're going to be releasing on Monday. He mentions how his whole life he didn't realize, he was going to become a professional wrestler. And then years later, after, being friendly with Triple H, he learned that Triple H's wrestling school where he learned, was it Killer Kowalski, I think, was only 20 minutes from Cena's house. And he had no idea for years, which is pretty funny. Like, that's crazy. You're like, wow. And you still became a huge star, but yeah, maybe imagine Cena, if he went to that school, instead of the 5-knuckle shuffle, it would have just been a knee lift, a knee drop.
Yep.
Instead. So maybe we're all lucky.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this podcast. I think it should be pretty good.
Who is the host? Like, who's asking him the questions? Is it?
Oh fuck, they say it every time, but I can't remember.
For me, in my head, I just picture the dude, the British guy who used to interview celebrities like Michael Jackson and stuff.
Oh,
we need that guy.
Yeah,
we need that guy on the case.
Oh, I'm completely blank.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the Indian fella.
Yeah. He used to be the big interviews, and I just remember the Michael Jackson one. I need him.
Fuck. I'll find it.
We go backstage. I guess the commercials were still running wild, but Ava is backstage with Blake Monroe.
Martin Bashir.
Martin Bashir. Yeah, that's right. Shout out Martin Bashir. And shout out Martin Bushby, too.
Yeah.
Because Blake calls Ava AVA. Is that her new name for her? Mm-hmm. And she says that she wants to have an open challenge for her North American title. I think I give Ava a lot of shit sometimes for her on-screen character. And then sometimes I think I don't give her enough because the character here, who I guess hates Blake because she's like this like bitchy heel. Blake just says, hey, I want to defend my title. And Ava pretty much says, no, you're no Ilya Dragunov. Or Sami Zayn.
You're not good enough to do an open challenge.
What a bitch. Why would you say that? That's so rude. This lady just said, I want to defend the title. And instead you just insult her. So she eventually agrees and says, sure, you can defend it. But I just thought that was so backwards of this.
Do you think this is going to be any sort of surprise opponent? Or Zarya. Okay.
I don't know. Soul. Zarya. Yeah. We need to go back. Like, she never really feel like we needed that rematch, but we'll see. But she calls Ava a bad mayor of NXT.
Bad mayor.
I kind of agree. Like, this lady just said, hey, I actually want to defend my title. I'm not booked on this show. And she's like, nah, you suck. You're not like Ilya or Sami Zayn. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Myles, a lot of talking. Backstage interview, Myles is being interviewed about the Iron Survivor. He says that he will win and he will face Oba at New Year's Evil, and says that he has won on Tuesday to get to pick his slot in the Iron Survivor. And he thought it out. He heard us both say that it would make sense to be number 3. You're right in the middle of it. And that's what he chooses. So that's his entrance, number 3. We also see he's interrupted because Grace and Kelani, they start to brawl all around. No pipes being thrown around during this backstage brawl, but this match is official now for Tuesday. And then there was a moment where Dion, Lennox, and Femi also have an interaction backstage where he's like, oh, I had my part, essentially, right? Like, I did it. I did my part. Now you win the Iron Survivor, and maybe we'll have that match. So
yeah.
I like that callback on Tuesday.
I think it's something they can definitely go back to at some point, right?
Yeah. We go to our next match, though. I know you've been waiting for this one all week. The North American Men's Championship. The champion, Ethan Page, all ego, defending against Mr. Iguana.
Yeah.
Something I noticed here. I don't know if it's enough to make it to Botchamania, but I happened to just pause during Mr. Iguana's entrance.
Okay.
Because I went and ran to get like a snack or something. And when I came back, I realized someone, meaning someone of WWE crew tonight, left a vacuum in the middle of the entrance.
Oh,
like a full-on vacuum in the middle of the tunnel.
Amazing.
Where they walk out. So someone must have been using it after one of the matches and then just left a fucking vacuum, because this Mr. Iguana, I thought for a second he was doing some hocus pocus shit, but no, it's just a random vacuum hanging out on the set. Someone definitely got yelled at after that. But anyways, Mr. Iguana versus Ethan Page, and Booker T wants nothing to do with this.
Yeah, me neither.
He's as into this as you are with the Iguana and the puppets. Booker T asks Vic if iguanas play dead, like that's one of their defense mechanisms, and Vic Joseph says, "I don't know, man. Why don't you ask Mr. Regal?" Which if you've listened to us,
yes,
we do a show called Was Next, which we review old NXT, and a thing we love to do on that show is bring up Regalisms, because Regal is on commentary and he says crazy. He was saying outlandish shit on NXT years before Booker T ever did.
Oh yeah,
but
his ugly daughters,
his ugly daughters, his ugly lizards. Hookups, oil paintings, and his lizards. He always brings up the fact that he's got pet like lizards. So there has been photos have been posted of him and his lizards, but this is also proof that he's always talking truth when he talks about his lizards. So thank you, Vic. However, Booker T did not care about this. Layeska is there. He's hanging out ringside, sort of. Mr. Iguana keeps evading Ethan Page here. Eventually hits a DDT. I think he goes to grab Layeska, but Ethan hits him with a DDT, and that's when Booker T just goes, "Yeah, get that sucker!" And goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I let that get the best of me. I apologize for being like unprofessional." It's like, of all the things you've ever said, you just went giggity giggity as a girl shaked her ass in the last match.
Yeah.
But it's calling someone a sucker. Not quite the Hulk Hogan moment in WCW Booker, but yeah, he's like, sorry about that. Layeska, meaning Mr. Iguana, comes back with a very snappy head scissors, which Booker was like, all right, I don't like this guy, but that was pretty impressive. Layeska bites Ethan Page on the finger, and then this pisses off Page, so then he power slams Mr. Iguana. He's beating down on him. He grabs Layeska, he spits on the puppet, and he throws it away. He sets up Mr. Iguana in the corner for a splash mountain, the super avalanche razor's edge, but it's countered into the Rey Mysterio type Rana off the top, the Frankensteiner, and then he goes for a very nice tope con hilo into a Rana from Mr. Iguana, the Iguana Rana on the outside there, very nice, and then goes in the ring with a flying headbutt, but Ethan Page kicks out. He goes up top for something like a moonsault, but Page scouts it, throws him off the top, and then hits the twisted grin for the win. Ethan Page retains.
Yeah, I don't think this needed to be on the show. Look, when you're doing these PLEs, which are only 5 matches, every match should be built, and every match should feel like we used to say. Like, how many times did we use the phrase, "Oh, it felt like a takeover" or whatever, which meant 5 bangers back to back. This was set up on Tuesday out of nowhere. For me, the meme of Mr. Iguana's worn off. It's especially with like Ethan Page. I don't want to see selling to this Iguana thing, like the puppet. It's fine in, a battle royal or stuff like that, like something a bit inconsequential to have a fun spot. But to take up a singles match on a pay-per-view for a championship, it left me cold. Like, Mr. Iguana hits a couple of nice looking moves, but then looks very sloppy on other stuff. The character's very one note for me. And Ethan Page has put, you were saying, like, what other matches have stood out in NXT this year? And I'd say some of Ethan Page's stuff. I think the second one he had with Ricky Saints was excellent. The match he had with El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. was excellent. And this just felt a waste of an Ethan Page PLE spot for me.
Like, okay, this match was announced on Tuesday, and he sold the Iguana sort of when he got scared or startled that the guy was in his car. and then the guy drove off, and then that was the setup. I think they just added this because we've got the 2 Iron Survivors. They go 30 minutes plus with entrances, and they just wanted something filler, and it seemed like such a last minute.
You have 5 matches though. Like, you don't need filler when it's like we're not talking the days of 8-9 matches.
This was the 5th match, right? Like this, I guess they felt like they wanted to have 5 instead of 4. Like there was a few things you could have done.
Give it more. You've got 2 hours of TV every week to build these things.
Yeah.
Like, and they set this up in a 90-second clip on Tuesday.
My issue,
Iguana, who's another Joe Hendry to me. It's just one.
He didn't sell. Like he grabs the puppet and spits on it and flips it off and throws it away instead of like being scared of it. Because again, like once you've watched this guy a few times, sure, the first time you show someone a Mr. Iguana spot or match, it's kind of funny and it's like, oh, that's interesting. Sure. And then after the fact, like even like legit watching, not even this time. It was the last time we watched him wrestle. So I think it was the Halloween Havoc show. My girlfriend came into the room while I was watching. It was a tag team match, right? And he was doing his puppet stuff. And literally, my girlfriend, who does not watch wrestling with me by any means at all, she does not really like it. She goes, oh, is that guy still doing the puppet thing? Yeah. That was at Halloween Havoc.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, that guy's doing the puppet thing still? I was like, oh, you don't know the half of it. Like the Finn Balor puppet. Then we got Harley, like puppets and DDT. There's just puppets are popular in 2025, but they've already outstayed their welcome, I think. Like I like this dude. He managed to instantly grab people's attention with this gimmick and like jumps, like, you know, the Joe Hendry, the meme wrestler, if you will, like the meme style of wrestling, like get popular on social media, the clips that help you drive. It might get you there quicker, but the longevity goes away pretty quick, right? Does that make sense? Like
you've got to find a way to evolve it, and I think that's why like someone like Orange Cassidy, I give so much credit to, because he's managed to. He still does the hands in the pockets thing. He still does the lazy kicks every match, but he's managed to do it in a way that just works, and he has evolved, and the character has got depth to it, and you understand why he's doing it. Like I don't know, like. Orange Cassidy is always trying to win the match, right? And that's why he's doing this stuff. He's doing it to fuck with the other opponent. I get the impression Mr. Iguana just likes his puppet.
Just like,
you know, I don't think he cares if he wins or loses. He just wants to play with his puppet.
Right. Yeah, I think he's funny, and it's an act that, you know, has its place. But I didn't think we needed it on this show. I don't think like Ethan Page is in 2025 is secured his spot of being a champion because he's been more serious. He's been hurting people. I know he's been doing the stuff with Chelsea, and that's, you know, been a lot of comedy. But aside from that, like, I didn't need to see him being scared of the puppet to set up this match.
No,
I didn't need this match either. I think he's had a hell of a run. Vic Joseph really high on him in this match, being like pretty much kind of like, why is he in this match? He should be like our champion essentially. And this version of Ethan Page, like, I didn't love his first initial run when he came in, but now I think he shouldn't even be here anymore. He should be doing this on the main roster. But,
yeah, like he should be the one to defeat Ilya, in my opinion.
Yeah, and then do this whole shtick Canada stuff with the U.S. title on the main roster. I think that would be gold. So hopefully we do see that down the line. But yeah, I look, this wasn't necessarily an awful match or anything, but I am also like tired of the Iguana stuff pretty quickly. So sorry if we let any of you down. It's still funny, it's still cool, but no, not really. You know what's still cool though? Michelle McCool.
Oh,
with the Undertaker. I can't believe this. I actually I forgot that Undertaker got fired his co-host and hired his wife.
Didn't he do the same on LFG?
No, he fired Mickey James. Yeah. So Michelle McCool is now the host of his podcast.
Yeah.
What? Okay. You know, I liked that other dude. I think that guy actually maybe was the reason you got some fun stuff from the Undertaker. But now you have Michelle McCool with her notes asking.
Well, it's now a questions. WWE podcast, isn't it? Whereas before he was just doing it on his YouTube with his reaction photos.
Right. I'll tell you, like some of the stuff in the last year he's had some interesting clips and stuff about his years in the business, but now it seems so phony with Michelle McCool.
Yeah.
There. They've completely killed that for me. But
what's with the obsession of wrestlers wanting to work with their wives and partners?
This is different.
Like,
this is beyond that. This
like,
is like,
Braden, can you would you want to do podcasts with your girlfriend? like
crazy.
Sure, you love her, but like you don't want to work with them all the time. Like you need a bit of separation. I just find it bizarre in wrestling. It's like, oh, we have to work together.
It's like it's so like Yoko Ono. Like, yo, bitch, I don't care about what you have to say. I care about what he has to say.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in negative. I'm joking when I'm like, yo, like it's just it's jarring to me because I'm like, wait, why are you there? Yeah. Why are you the one asking these questions? It seems fake. Bless her. I've always been a fan of Michelle McCool. Lay cool for life. But like, it just feels weird. And I'm sure I'm late to this because I feel like she's been hosting it
it's been a while. Yeah.
But like all the power to them. I think it could still be a good show. I'm just kind of like, what? But why? Anyways. He supports his wife, and I guess we got to appreciate that. But anyways. Kendal Gray backstage. She's very excited. She says, I wasn't supposed to win this. I'm the underdog. I was the upset here. And she's just shocked that she won this thing. So Ruca comes in and goes, you were the better person. But if I was 100% and my knee didn't, be all broken, I would have won. Which is pretty heelish. Bit of a dick thing to say, Soul. Ren says that kind of sounds like an excuse, and she's right. Ren says that she did this all winning in 25 minutes, and like you didn't do that. And Soul kind of says like, oh, we'll see if she can win a title, kind of thing. So I thought a bit of a backhanded compliment. From Soul Ruca here.
Getting a little negative, a little bit of a negative Nancy.
Like, oh, good job winning. You're just lucky I wasn't 100%.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, so I think the Soul Ruca heel turn is coming.
I don't know about that, but
is this what they're leading the red herring here? Soul is gonna be speared out of her shoes by Zarya one day, and she's gonna learn. She can't act like this because I thought she was a bit of a meanie here. But Kendal Gray, very excited to win. We go to our next match. It is a grudge match. The truth will ultimately prevail, but there is pain bringing it to life. Izzi, Dame, and the Culling taking on Tatum, Paxley. The story here is Tatum joined the Culling, somehow became NXT Women's World Champion, beating JC, and then wanting to defend as a fighting champion and lost it very quickly because of Izzi. So it's a whole backwards kind of story. But if the video made sense, then at least we're here. What didn't make sense was Tatum Paxley coming out with a snotty nose.
Well, she's sad. She's been crying, remember?
The gimmick here.
She hasn't washed since being turned on.
The gimmick here is she's dressed like a doll. Now, what did Gail Kim think of Tatum Paxley's outfit and appearance here? Because she's dressed like a doll, but now like runny makeup and a runny nose for the entrance here. So the gimmick is that she's been sad and crying for weeks leading up to this match. So the Culling are ringside, and they get in the ring before the match even starts, and the ref is trying to get them out of there. And this allows Izzi to try to sneak attack Tatum, but Tatum scouts this and sees it coming. And then they do this far too much in this match for my liking. But early on, Izzy's already like, oh, I'm sorry. Let's hug it out. I think they do this like 3 or 4 times in this match. Really did not like it. So and
it's exactly the same. Like she does this hug on the outside and then throws her into the ring steps. And it's the same hug we saw Liv Morgan to Cena a week ago. It's the same Cena to Cody at Elimination Chamber. It's the giving the hug and then the eyes just, I'm evil. I'm going to turn on you.
So Tatum acts all emotional and crying and then attacks Izzi again. And then Izzi levels her. They literally do this hug spot. I don't know how many times here, but Izzi throws her into the steps. Like you said, she gets her back into the ring. She hits a back breaker there and then starts attacking the back of Tatum Paxley. She puts her in a lion tamer here. And then
very nice. Like Izzy's tall. Like she's got a real like Charlotte Flair-esque physique. And I thought this this lion tamer looked excellent.
What was even better than the lion tamer was Izzi getting in the face of Tatum, just yelling at her, "Evolve! Evolve!" I guess she's promoting
wrong company.
Tubi? Yeah, Tubi on Wednesday nights. Evolve! Evolve! Hit me! She keeps yelling, "Hit me!" So Tatum does this crossbody to the outside, and then hits the what's her move? Forget what she calls it. Cemetery drive. That's what she calls it. She hits the cemetery drive on the commentator desk, but it doesn't give away. It doesn't break. And then she rolls Izzi in the ring to go to try to pin her, but Shawn Spears gets in her way and hands Tatum 2 Barbie dolls, one being dressed up like Izzi, one being dressed up like Tatum, like the whole Barbie dollhouse thing that Tatum's been into. And then Tatum grabs the dolls, holds them, and then Spears rips and pops off the head of the Tatum doll. So she slaps him. She goes back in the ring and is welcomed by a big boot from Izzi and the sky-high sit-out spinebuster for the 1, 2, 3. Izzi Dame pins Tatum Paxley in 12 minutes and 36 seconds. Oh, boy.
There was stuff I liked about this and stuff I didn't. I think both Tatum and Izzi have stepped up a lot in ring. I think Izzi Dame recently with this kind of almost assuming the leader role of the culling. I think she's got a lot of presence about her now. I think her promos have been pretty good. I've enjoyed her like ascension. I hate all the stuff with the dolls. I hate all the over dramatic hugging and, oh no, I'm gonna turn on you again. And it's just like there's so much melodrama now in WWE. And I know people always used to make fun of it with Gargano and Ciampa, but at least with that, I felt it was a bit more earned, a lot of the melodrama. It feels everything. It just feels unearned and over the top and kind of takes me out of the good match that they're actually having. And I thought there was some nice stuff here. And I think, like we said on Tuesday on our predictions, I think Izzi should have won this because I think you can continue them being dominant and have Tatum on the chase to eventually get her win back. We'll probably have some sort of gimmick. I wouldn't be surprised if we see these in a cage
house match
or something like that coming up. But yeah, I didn't like the stuff with the dolls. Yeah, you're right. A dollhouse match. Yes.
Hated this match. I hate this rivalry. I hate everything about this. I think if this was just a straight up wrestling match, like you said, there was some good stuff in it that we've seen from both wrestlers. We've seen the evolution of Izzi and Tatum this year. And instead it's more of the culling stuff, more of the Barbie doll stuff, more like the hugging spots, the crying stuff. Like one of my least favorite matches I've watched in recent. I really did not like this. As far as like PLEs go, I hate this feud, this rivalry. I think you were defending Izzi like, hey, she cut a good promo on Tuesday. I think the creative is what's wrong with this feud. And she just cut a promo being like, yo, I just don't like you, or I was using you and you lost the title. Like the story is backwards because you ended up costing her the title anyways.
Well, yeah, she cost her the title for no reason. As we said, JC should have won. You could have had fatal influence interference. And then after Tatum lost, then Izzi turns on her. I told you not to put this title on the line. I told you to be more selective. You're putting your title on the line against the whole of fatal influence, which is ridiculous. Or you can also have, Tatum didn't put Izzi on the wheel. It's like, I'm supposed to be your best friend and you let everyone challenge you except for me because you're scared of me. Well, like I'm taking you out. And I hate it when we off the top of our head in 30 seconds can come up with better creative than a fucking writer's team.
Like it's wrestling. I don't know. We got a guy playing with a puppet and then the next match is they're playing with Barbie dolls. Like, am I crazy? I just want to watch people fight, like fake fight. I don't need to see this shit. And 2 back-to-back stinkers. I was like, oh man, like not even that. I think I hated this one worse. I think this was my least favorite on the show just because of this like melodrama of crying and Barbies and like, I don't know. This just isn't for me whatsoever. I don't think the issue is with Tatum and Izzi. Like, I think the wrestling I think they're good wrestlers. Don't get me wrong, but this story has just been awful.
like it's been good that they're lucky that the crowd haven't turned on Tatum. Like Tatum still has this crowd support, but no one wants to support just a whiner, a crybaby.
Yeah, legit crybaby is the gimmick.
Like I thought it would have been, as we said, it should have been Tatum issuing the challenge, not Izzi. And Tatum could have started that promo with the like she's been crying, and then turn serious and be like, "Nah, I'm gonna fuck you up," and coming out here like mean, like going after her. Like I don't care if you're just crying. Oh, you've been duped again. Boo hoo.
I'm sick of Sean Spears. I gotta support St. Catharines in Niagara Falls, but how many colored vests that guy got in his fucking wardrobe? Like, I don't like this culling group. I don't like this story, this angle. I think the talent involved, sure, they could easily have a good future in WWE. Tatum, Izzi both have some promise, but whatever the writing is of this is some of my least favorite stuff this year. And this match coming to it, I don't want to watch the rematch, and we're going to get a dollhouse match or something down the line. But yeah, really didn't like this. I don't need to see Sean Spears anymore. I don't need the culling, that theme song, everything about it. I really don't like. But anyways, sure, we'll get a rematch at New Year's Evil down the line, and hopefully a step up from whatever this was. We go to Javon Evans backstage with Ricky Saints, fresh off his loss. Ricky Saints stays after losing to watch the rest of the show like a true former champion.
Pro.
But yeah, pro. Ricky is sad, and Javon is hyping him up like, hey, I know you're real sad you lost, but I'm about to go win, and I'm going to get a title shot against Oba, and I'll get that title back. So don't worry. Essentially is like he's 21, he doesn't realize what he's saying, but he's basically like, hey, don't be sad that you lost. I'm about to go in and get the title. So when Ricky turns heel, think back to this spot.
I do like that as a way. I think, isn't that the way they set up the Ethan Page feud originally? Like,
yes, that's exactly
Javon
right.
Just being super friendly, super polite, but on the flip side, you're like, dude, I've been doing this for 10 years and you're a fucking child. Don't tell me what to do. Like,
yeah, that's exactly what this storyline is. The same thing is going to happen here. So Ricky says, I hope you win, but he looked a little distraught. So I imagine we get some chicanery with Ricky Saints, not so Saint, in the near future. We have a sit-down interview with Dion Lennox. He's being asked about John Cena. He says, Cena purposely picked me to be in this match. And he says, I went from being a nobody in NXT, and it shows him with the glasses and being a bookworm and everything. And he took things into his own hands. And then it shows him giving his tag title to Saquon Sugars on Tuesday, which we joked about was pretty funny. But have you seen him on socials since? I know on Tuesday he put up
he did the segment.
He did the and new. But did you see him since then?
No.
He's like, not since, is it Henry Godwin winning a title in a backstage segment? Look at me. I think it was maybe the hardcore title.
Right.
Who he was referencing, but yeah, think about it. He was just awarded a title in a backstage segment. Hilarious.
It's a shame this Dark State thing really hasn't worked, because I actually think the Dion Lennox story is pretty interesting. He was one of these Performance Center call-ups. We'd see him in a few 3-4 minute matches, did a couple of impressive things, some nice suplexes, throws, athleticism, and then just gets completely snubbed by Femi. And it turned him, it made him create this group and everything. That part of the story is great. And him explaining it here is great. Just the execution of Dark State in between has been terrible. But I still think I'm not completely writing Dion Lennox off. I think they can make this work. I think Dark State needs to completely change its look, its promo style, its everything. But I think there are some cool things about Dion Lennox. And like you said earlier, the callback to the Oba thing is interesting to me.
Yeah, it does show some promise, especially from him. If they're showing him, he's the leader of the group, he's the brains behind them being in operation in the first place. But I thought he showed some spunk for sure, like hyping this up. Like, I'm meant to do this. I'm meant to be a champion. Now, of course, now he's not going to win, but I still think they did. This is the best they've done, even more so than winning tag titles for Dark State. like seeing some actual like substance behind them. That like, if you made them more serious and less just like, you know, shitty Shield, because that's been their thing, is like the lights out, the attacks, the Shield bomb, the nobody's safe, the catchphrase, the justice, essentially. It's so like copy paste. Whereas here you're having some real reason, like, hey, I should be a star here and I was treated badly, so I'm gonna take matters into my own hands, kind of thing. I don't know. I think there's some legs we could go with it, but I think if you did this earlier, it would have made them make more sense. Like, you've had commentary, Vic Joseph, for weeks and months being like, hey, the reason these guys did this is because they were like outcasts. I think if you're seeing it, actually, them saying it, maybe it would have helped, other than their riddles promos they do.
Don't mean to shit on the guy, but I'm going to shit on the guy. Would this group be a lot more intimidating without Cutler James?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
I think because then you have, you know, like as a trio, you have Dion Lennox, who's like the leader, the mastermind behind the whole thing. Osiris Griffin is the muscle, and Saquon Sugars, he's kind of like the Dean Ambrose of the group, isn't he? He's more of the wild card. And I think
in the promo, good promo,
and the promo, yeah. And I think switch it. I think the putting them in Shield gear is just ridiculous. Like, switch up the look. It just, I don't know. It just looks weird. He looks like Sami Zayn in the Bloodline, Cutler James. He looks just so out of place in this group with his baggy pants. And yeah.
Well, they even dropped his one thing that made him stand out.
They should like, kick him out the group and just be meaner. Like, do an angle.
Yeah. It sounds terrible to say that, but you're kind of right. Like, he does seem like the odd man out in this. He's just there. The fact that he didn't even want the tag title, he just gave it to Sugars, means your time's up soon, I think. Sorry, Cutler James, but I think there'll be a better group. More serious Dark State would work better. Well, speaking of more serious, we go from that to the Download with Shiloh Hill. If you've not followed NXT for the last few weeks, this is the Discord moderator, your new favorite wrestler, the Discord moderator gimmick, the Redditor, the 4chan cult leader, Shiloh Hill, the Dark Web
Dave.
Dark Web Shiloh Hill. He's got some sort of toothbrush. He's cleaning his missing tooth. He says, welcome to the final download. Mentions playing football. He says that the first time he ever played football was because he was talking to some squirrels, and he watched these two squirrels talking to each other, and he could understand them. And he says, I wonder if I could talk to a squirrel. So he chased these squirrels, and when he was chasing them, a voice said, hey, son, you can catch these squirrels. Maybe you could catch some footballs. And the squirrel bit me and ran away. But the coach said, hey, have you ever thought about playing football? So I did. And that's how I played football. And then he mentions having a tooth stuck in his head. He said when he was a little kid, his sister was being bullied. So he attacked the bully and headbutted the bully so bad that the tooth was lodged into his head, and it still is there. The left canine tooth in his skull somewhere. And
what's with this guy in teeth?
Yeah. He then says that he's at a good point now in his life. And this computer starts to beep, beep, boop, boop, chat GPT, 4chan, whatever the fuck he's using here on the dark web. It shows his heart rate monitor. I'm pretty sure this was Ethan Page's voice. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But the computer starts talking to him and says, it's time for everyone to wake up. Don't sleep on Shiloh Hill. And we get it's like monitoring him. And it's like all these like tech things. It says that it's time. So this Tuesday, Shiloh Hill will be in action on NXT as he smiles and says, get ready. So,
yeah, I've definitely been more of a fan of these than most people, it seems. But
I don't know. I talked some shit on Tuesday. I got a lot of DMs saying I was wrong, but I will stand on my hill and say I'll stand on my Shiloh
Hill.
Don't know what the fuck this is, but
this was my least favorite of them. But the fact that we know he's going to wrestle now, I am intrigued to see how this translates to the ring, what his look is going to be, what his wrestling is like. So, as I said, content aside, I do think this guy has a look and some charisma about him, which is lacking from quite a few people in NXT right now. So I'll give him that, and looking forward to see what he has to bring.
But like, sorry, is the gimmick his computer is like how from like, it's a smart computer and it's like evaluating him and putting him into the ring? Is it like Axiom? Because it was also said something about like woke. I don't know, I was getting worried about some schisms or dyads or something, but this gimmick is like, is it Solomon Crow? Is it Ali? Is it a hacker? What is
I'm going to guess that they don't know yet.
I don't think they know. It's like, you ask yourself, have you ever asked, what if Bray Wyatt used 4chan is pretty much what this gimmick is right now. So from the dark web, the black hole of the internet, Shiloh Hill, debuting this Tuesday. So yeah. Interesting. This was my least favorite of them because he didn't really say anything that funny in this one. And then it had the supercomputer, which I'm going to wait until someone says whose voice this was. And my money is on Ethan Page. It sounded like his voice being the supercomputer. So we shall see. I'm not saying it's linked to that. I think he just lent his sweet dulcet tones. We go, well, that is Tuesday, but also on Tuesday, Blake Monroe open challenge for the North American women's title and Jordynne Grace versus Kelani Jordynne. So there's some 3 things announced for Tuesday. But we go to our Deadline main event of the evening, the men's Iron Survivor match. Winner gets a shot at Femi at New Year's Evil. We start things off with the TNA X Division champion, Leon Slater, taking on his buddy, his pal, not Scott Stanford, but Javon Evans, the 2 friends here going face to face. We got to see a little bit of this at the TNA show where Dark State interfered. So we have 5 minutes of these 2 one-on-one. They start to go at it pretty quick here. There's all like, they keep catching each other's moves and then trying to be friendly. And then like it keeps getting revved up a little bit. So counter over counter here. There's like super kicks. There's a Dragon Rana eventually snapping Leon here to the mat, and Javon gets a quick first point about 5 minutes into this matchup here. But the first 5 minutes were just them going out, just like fast-paced action. But a Dragon Rana catches Leon, allowing Evans to get the first point when Myles Borne comes in. I don't know if I ever noticed, Myles Borne Titantron is really weird.
Oh, it's new. I noted this as well. It's just him
in a suit.
It's him in a suit, and it says Myles Borne. It was, I found this a little bizarre too.
It's like, explain your character. Titantron should at least like explain a little bit about you. Like, I don't know, if you're Chris Statlander, maybe there's aliens in it or like whatever. But this guy's just a picture of himself in a suit. I was like, that's a weird Titantron. But out comes Myles Borne. He hits this tope to both of them pretty quickly here. He starts going at it and leveling both of them. Eventually, though, Javon does this like suplex on him and then kip ups and then does a similar one to Leon as well. For some reason, Vic Joseph and Booker T are talking about a best of 5, and Booker T mentions his best of 5 series with John Cena, of course, from 2004. No Mercy. Shout out. Best of 5 series is a good time. Myles back on the control, but then Dion Lennox comes out. And he tells Dark State, I'm doing this alone, and doesn't want them ringside for the match. So they make it to their way to the back. And Dion comes in, dropping everyone. I thought Myles coming in didn't necessarily have this, like, I don't know, excitement when he came in. He did like a tope, and then they beat him up. Whereas Dion comes in, and it was like dropping everyone.
Yeah, he came out like he was trying to prove something. You know, he wanted to really show this is his biggest. Yes, he's been in tag matches and things, but I think this was his biggest match focusing purely on him. I thought he looked good. And yeah, Myles has kind of taken a little backseat for me. I don't think he
was the least impressive in this match.
Yeah, like it's he had that nice little thing building up to the match with Oba and playing off his disability and stuff like that. I haven't seen much evolution since then in ring or character wise.
I mean, the character is his Titantron is a picture of him in a suit jacket.
Yeah.
It's like, what is your character, really. So, yeah, I thought his like entrance into this match, he did a tope, but then they quickly beat him up. Whereas Dion comes in and he's hitting clotheslines on everyone and then hits a snowplow, or as some call a bulldozer here, a scoop slam driver, and picks up a point. So Dion Lennox has a point, and so does Javon Evans. I call it a bulldozer because I've mentioned we do a show called Was Next, and literally the episode we reviewed that I'm going to put out today, we reviewed Bull Dempsey's NXT debut, and in his debut, he hits this exact move and wins the match with it.
It looks cool. I mean, it's
the snowplow.
It's the snowplow. It's almost like an AA as well here. Like, I was wondering if that was maybe what he was going for with the Cena.
I guess kind of. Yeah. Him. It's kind of like the Time Bomb who used to Hiromu. Yeah, kind of similar, right? So Dion picks up a point really quickly here. Again, I think that really established like he had an impact in this match very quickly. Javon now cleans house, coming back in and does a frog splash on Myles for a 2 count. But say his name and he appears because Joe Hendry comes in, the final entrant in this match. He hits a double fallaway slam. That was pretty cool. He's very more serious, I'd say, Joe Hendry. There wasn't a lot of the smiles that we've normally seen.
Okay, I found this pretty funny. Like, his music hits, everyone's popping, singing along, and he comes in, he's not doing the turn, or I think he does the turn,
but he's like serious face.
He's like mean mugging, and he's not playing, he's not doing the arms in the air, he's walking down the ring looking mean, he's hitting this impressive, double fall away slam, mean mugging, and then we will rock you. Like, dude, come on.
We believe. Yeah. I thought, Freddie Mercurio was going to show up.
Yeah.
Freddie Mercury wrestler.
What, come out of retirement?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, true. He retired, yeah. So Joe Hendry does the we will rock you punches here. Very more serious, Joe Hendry. He beats up everyone here, hits a stage dive, the running dive to the outside onto everyone except Myles, gets back in the ring and hits Myles Borne with the Widowmaker. Shout out Sean O'Hare here. This is like an AA, but instead of flipping the guy that way, you reverse it and almost STO. It reminded me of Sean O'Hare because I used to give this Widowmaker move to my creator wrestler in the old games. And I posted a GIF of Sean O'Hare doing this move, and Joe Hendry appreciated it.
Nice.
And, clearly, he is also a big fan of Sean O'Hare. But the Widowmaker giving a point to Joe Hendry here. It's a 3-way tie. This is when Javon and Leon now are just going at it in the ring. They're hitting a series of kicks on each other. Somehow Leon is busted open again. I'm pretty sure he was bleeding on Tuesday, so it's probably a ruptured something in his nose. So eventually there's a swanton coast to coast from Javon, kind of like flipping kick there. And then Leon goes for his 450, but then that's broken up. Or sorry, I think he hits it on Joe and gets a point here. So it's actually a 4-way tie now at this point. Myles and Dion are in the ring, and he goes for the Borne again. He hits it on the outside, but then gets back in the ring and hits it a second time on Dion and gets the point as well. So it is a 5-way tie, which means the next point could technically win with 4 minutes remaining in this match. Shout out Vic Joseph, who tells us that it was Jelly Roll who gave Myles Borne the idea to call that move the Borne again. Apparently Myles was training with Jelly Roll for Jelly's match, I guess, last year for SummerSlam this year. And in training, Jelly was like, hey, I like that zigzag you do. You should call it the Borne again. And he was like, fuck yeah, it's a great name. I'm going to create a wrestling move and call it the Atheist.
The Atheist. Oh,
isn't it Borne again?
Right. No, Borne. You're missing it. The Bratheist.
The Bratheist. Yeah, better than what I had. So I'll go with that. So shout out Jelly Roll. I'm sure he was watching this match. So it's a 5-way tie. Everyone's got a point here. Next point could win the match technically. This is when Dion's in the penalty box and starts to beat up on Joe Hendry. And it's now Myles and Leon in the ring. And there's all these crazy back and forths, like countering each other's moves here. There's a good stretch in the last 2 minutes left where all 5 guys are in there. This is when the referee gets thrown into the box with Javon and Dion locks it. So the one ref is there to make sure people get in and out. And he's now locked in the box. So Javon climbs out of the box and does a huge crossbody off of it onto Dion. And then while he's celebrating, Leon does his huge tope over the top rope to the outside onto Javon.
Oh, it's the one like over the turnbuckle as well. Which
this was chaos here.
Nuts.
He's hyped up. He goes up top. He goes for his his crazy move, but Javon gets back in there. He hits his cutters on Leon. It's craziness. Myles is breaking up pinfalls. There's a super Borne again on Javon, which allows Leon to go up and hit the Swanton 450, but it's broken up, meaning that now it's Hendry who breaks it up, but then he gets thrown into the commentator desk. Vic Joseph and Booker T are wiped out here. Gotta shout out Vic Joseph for completely eating someone's boot to the face.
Oh, yeah.
Yet still manages to call the rest of this match. Booker is just playing dead at this point. We get Javon Evans, who in like seconds left of this match rolls up Myles Borne to get the second point as the timer runs out. Javon Evans is your Iron Survivor, winning the whole thing. But I think Vic Joseph is the true Iron Survivor for calling the rest of it. He ate that.
Oh, yeah.
Boot to the face and managed to still do that. But Javon Evans, 21 years old, winning the Iron Survivor.
Another entertaining match. I didn't think it quite reached the level of the women's. I found there weren't as many options here to win. I like really outside of Javon, who could you see winning this? I know he said it's for a TV special, so you could go either way, but I thought Javon was quite clearly the winner.
Yeah.
I also felt it was a little too samey in layout to the women's. You know, everyone tied right to the end. I know it's against the clock. You're always going to want the final pinfall to be in the last few seconds, but
yeah,
I thought maybe we could have done a bit differently where it's Javon and one other person are tied going into the final stretch. And maybe the others are in the penalty box or something. I don't know. I just thought layout was very similar to the women's earlier in the match. That being said, the action was all good. Some spectacular stuff from Javon and Leon Slater in here. But I felt this was a little weaker and therefore should have maybe had the women main event.
I still thought this was pretty fun, but yeah, comparing this to the women's one on the same show is like, that one definitely went the extra mile, where this felt a little copy paste of the other Iron Survivor matches, literally of the one that happened with the timing and the 5-way tie. And then to have one roll up at the end is less exciting than kind of what we did earlier with Kendal Gray, but there was some good stuff in it. I thought they really tried to make Dion stand out, and I think going forward that this will help him, giving him this like big opportunity. I thought Joe Hendry trying to do the more serious stuff is something that we kind of needed to. I think maybe he's heard the criticism of like he couldn't just come out here and being the same. I mean, he kind of is, but he hit a new finishing move, which to me, like, that was cool, I guess. But the one guy in this match I thought kind of didn't necessarily stand out was Myles Borne. I think he has kind of been at the same spot for a while, and I know they've given him some pushes and some opportunities, but I'm not sure where do you go with him. Like, do you do a character change, a heel turn, or something to maybe give him something a bit more? Like I said, if his Titantron is just him in a suit jacket, that's instantly explaining that he doesn't necessarily have a character.
Yeah.
So we need something added to him. Leon Slater is incredible talent. I can't wait to see where that guy goes in the next few years, still being only 21 years of age. So I would love to see him in NXT full time going forward. And then the winner, Javon Evans. I mean, anyone watching this would have called him being the one. The story in 2026 needs to be Javon Evans finally becoming NXT champion. We got him on Raw a few weeks ago with people seeing him at MSG. And I think that was a real like, oh, wait, who's this guy? If you haven't already seen him, but he is the one guy in NXT that is like, I say guy, meaning like the one male talent that we can easily book a whole show around in 2026 of being like the big title getting the title and the big win should be at Stand and Deliver. So I don't know if he should win at New Year's Evil, simply because there's way more story with the chase for 2026. But I still liked this match, but just a slightly less than the women's for sure.
Chris Jones makes a point that it hasn't been explained what happens if it's tied, and that needs doing. Look, both matches went into the final 30 seconds with it completely tied.
5 more minutes.
And I think they should let us know that it goes into overtime or whatever. And I'm thinking, if you're wanting to try and make this different from the women's match, you could have had Javon and Dion tied at the end.
Right.
And then say whoever's tied, it's then just them two. And you can have Dion versus Javon. You could then have the Dark State interference with, the rest of the guys in the match are baby faces, Leon, Joe, and Myles. They fight off Dark State, and then you get the big Javon win then.
Right.
And it would just feel a little different in layout to the first one. And then you've established this rule, if we have a tie in the future. Because, I think you do need that explained. We know it's a scripted sport, but in real sport, we know what happens. If it's tied, we go to extra time, then penalties or whatever. So I think Chris makes a good point there.
I think that would have made a whole lot of sense, because as it was a 5-way tie and the seconds were counting down, it did make me go, hey, are they just is Ava going to come out and they're going to do, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, 5 more minutes essentially here. But I thought this was fun. I think Javon New Year's Evil, that could be something good, but I'm not quite sure. The men's division with this Oba winning the title kind of shakes things up. Ricky Saints heel turn could happen, all that stuff, but fun stuff. I can't wait to see a Leon Javon singles match for the NXT title in 2026. One day we gotta get that, or they win the tag titles too, because that could be it. But MVP of the match, Vic Joseph. He ate that shit and finished that. I respect that. Vic Joseph should be big deal. He should be calling main roster, and then in a few years, I've really come to love Vic. I mean, he did, but Vic has really stepped up for me. I love the fact that he's been putting up with Booker's bullshit for far too long.
You wonder though, he might be perfectly happy with hey, I just live in Florida and go once a week to work. Maybe he's all right with that.
Well, Vic Joseph appreciation.
Yeah.
Here on UpNXT. We love him.
But
that used to be Vic. He's toned that down a bit. Yeah, he's just being told to relax from Booker T.
Yeah, chill Vic.
Imagine Booker T telling you to relax. Oh my God. Well, that wasn't the end of the show, because after the match, Javon Evans is in the middle of the ring. He's celebrating. As he's celebrating, Oba Femi comes out. His music hits. He stands on the entrance ramp staring daggers into Javon Evans, saying, "You want this? You can never get this. You will never get this." And the lights go out. I love it. I knew something was happening because, we saw the cut up hat and the bridge on Tuesday, but also the logo goes up, the credits, something's about to pop off. The lights go out, and when it shows, a screen pops up. There's a man on a bridge walking towards the camera. At first, I thought it was Bane in The Dark Knight Rises, but it was not. The lights come back on. There's a spotlight in Javon's face. He's like, and we see someone is behind him. And when the spotlight shows Tony D'Angelo with the ripped up hat in a leather jacket with fur trim, big beard, man bun, and
really thick beard. Has he dyed this beard?
Possibly.
This looks I think he's gone to the same guy as Drew McIntyre.
And he takes out Javon Evans here, and the show ends with Tony D'Angelo standing tall, staring at Oba Femi. So Tony D is back in NXT. The Dawn is back, or is it the Dawn? It's kind of, on first glance here, a bit of departure from maybe the more mafia character. I know that's first glance, but would you think that's the takeaway going forward? Is a more
I think we, that's what they're going for. It's like he's moved on. The family is no more. He's taken off his hat. I think they're going for a different. And do you assume a heel? I don't know.
Yeah, it was weird. There was no reaction.
No.
To him. I don't know if it's they had the camera on him, so the screens showed his face or people couldn't tell. Like, I think it was pretty obvious it was him, but I don't know if people didn't know who he was or whatnot. But like I said, the crowd was kind of on their hands for this whole show. And even more when the big angle that closes the show is a return and no one reacted.
I think it's still the issue with the men's division. You know, you're teasing an Oba Tony D'Angelo match, which does make sense because Tony beat Oba for the North American title way back when.
Yeah.
But we've seen it. We've seen that feud before. We've seen Oba and Javon before. Like, it's everything. It's just like both Tony and Oba shouldn't be on NXT anymore. And if we've left the Mafia persona behind for Tony D'Angelo, I don't really know what he has to offer on the main roster. I think the Mafia thing would work on the main roster. At least
we're alone on that.
Give it a go. Like, it's more. I think it's more interesting than just some bloke called Tony who's a wrestler.
Like, you could easily. You needed to try it. We said it before. Like, look at Chase U. They clearly were never going to even want to attempt to try that gimmick on the main roster. But you know what? It probably would have gotten over as it did. And the Mafia stuff has been in NXT for what feels like 2 years, maybe more than that. And they don't want to pull that trigger. So instead, they might change or tweak this gimmick to a more like, you know, more down-to-earth character of like, he's just an actual... Yeah, he may have ties to the Mafia, but I don't know. I think you need to shit or get off the pot with people and bringing them onto the main roster. And Tony coming back to NXT is definitely like a head scratching thing. But the story is, hey, Oba, I beat you before, and I think I could do it again. So I guess that's where we're going. But we've just been told the main event of New Year's Evil is Javon versus Oba. So it's a bit of some moving pieces that are kind of confusing. And none of these pieces are moving forward. We're going backwards.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I felt bad because there was no pop for Tony, but at the same time, how am I supposed to get so excited for this character has been missing?
It does feel like regression.
Yeah. I didn't hate this show. I loved the women's Iron Survivor match. Again, I can't think of a better match in NXT than that this year. I liked the men's Iron Survivor. I thought that was a lot of fun as well. Happy for Javon. I think, again, he shouldn't win the title at New Year's Evil. I think he should be stretched out for Stand and Deliver. Finally getting that big one in Vegas could be the big story that NXT needed. I think Ricky needs to turn heel. I think some people need to move up. I think we need to get some, like, look how quickly they made Kendal Gray.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they realized, oh, you're actually really good. Let's just push you right away, instantly. And it's totally working. We could do that with other people in the absence of losing people to the main roster. So, I don't know. Thumbs in the middle, but thumbs way up for that women's Iron Survivor.
I always enjoy the Iron Survivor matches, and that did carry the show for me. The rest, I feel, could have been on an episode of TV, and the women absolutely stole the show. Yeah.
I don't think we're alone on thinking maybe the women stole the show. I think they most definitely did. So as advertised now is the 2 title matches for the Wednesday, January 6th edition of New Year's Evil NXT TV. So we'll see. Does Tony get added to that match, a triple threat match, or I don't know where we go, but we'll have to tune in on Tuesday to see. I thought Tony got thrown off a bridge or something. Or was that the Heritage Cup? That was
I can't remember. I thought he just lost.
And then Stax is bad, and Stax is in TNA. He's a champion there now. So maybe we'll go back to that feud, but I don't know. Anyways, there you go. That was NXT Deadline. Let us know. Do you agree, disagree on what we said or about this show? But Tuesday, moving forward with a new episode of NXT and some big stuff coming. So there you go. I think we got a piece of feedback, if I'm not mistaken, in our Facebook group. Ooh. If you have Facebook, search Poisonrana, give us a like, but it leads you to the Facebook group as well, where we post fun things and share everything. But Cameron writes in here, Kendal Gray is fantastic. How do you do the moves and make them look so crisp at 24? Her and Javon winning is what NXT is all about. He says, I didn't think Ricky Saints would lose, but surely main roster bound, maybe under the mask at Survivor Series. Back to NXT blowing main roster PLEs out of the water. Love to see Tony D back. Is Rizzo coming? ? Thank you for the content, lads. Good question. Let alone Tony D. Where is Rizzo?
Rizzo's completely vanished. I believe Luca's in Evolve. I no idea where Rizzo is.
The lawyer's in Evolve. Rizzo's gone. Stax is TNA international champion. Wow, family. It's happened. Chris in the chat saying Tony was whacked in homage to The Sopranos. Yeah, remember they did like was it like a cutaway? They just didn't get the budget for Journey. Don't Stop Believing. But yeah. Thank you for writing in there, Cameron. There you go. That was Deadline, folks. Anything else before we head out of here in the world of wrestling?
I think maybe on Tuesday we can talk a little bit more about the matches from Collision last night, because I didn't have a chance to see it. But any takeaways from Dynamite this week?
Yeah, I won't spoil or anything like that. But Collision, Takeshita versus Moxley, must watch. Awesome, awesome match. I mean, Takeshita, my king, my goat. I can't not watch, but I thought, I mean, the history there with Moxley and Takeshita, with stuff there, I thought that was good. Collision, they had some good matches. The Dynamite was weird. It's like the Continental Classic matches are awesome and some of the best wrestling on TV, whereas the rest of the show felt a little.
The world title picture is very uninteresting at the moment, and the fact that we're using this world title to try and get over Hook is ridiculous. And but you know what, I kind of did enjoy Hangman Page's promo, which kind of had that sense about it. It's like, I've been fighting for this fucking championship for 3 years since I lost it. I've gone through hell. I've had my people trying to fucking kidnap my kids. I've burned down houses. I've put needles in people's faces. I've stabbed heads with forks. I win the title, and Hook fucks it up for me. Like, I did find that quite funny. But yeah, the Continental Classic is what's carrying AEW right now, and that's fantastic. I thought, and thanks for the spoiler in the chat, Chris, as we just said, no spoilers. But yeah, I thought Claudio Moxley was fantastic on Wednesday, and continuing that story. I love how Marina is just looking devastated every time Moxley loses. It's like she knows. It's like her dog is getting ill, and she knows she's got to put him down, but doesn't want to.
Or even worse, she knows that if Moxley gets put down, that means Daniel Garcia's got to be the leader of the group. So maybe she's dreading that. But.
Yeah. No, I thought Moxley Claudio was awesome, and I'm like starting to think, because we're coming towards the end of the year, and I'm going to say something that I thought would have been crazy at the beginning of the year. Is Jon Moxley Wrestler of the Year?
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought he might be. Like, you look at his body of work, even in the times when we're shitting on Death Riders, like, he's put on some incredible stuff. Like the Mascara Dorada match, and then the one you say the Takeshita match is fantastic as well. Like, yeah, I've been loving it, and I think his story is really interesting right now.
Yeah, I don't think it's a hot take. Like, big turnaround for me. Like, since the summer, he's really like been awesome. And the Death Rider stuff maybe started with a bumpy ride in the beginning, but overall this year he's put on a lot of great stuff. Like, it's going to be hard. Usually it's easy. It's like, okay, Ospreay is Wrestler of the Year, and then who's like Wrestler of the Year B or 2. And this year it's like, well, he's injured more of the year, so we need someone else in there, and he's definitely comes to mind. Takeshita too as well, big year for him, but Moxley definitely comes to mind. I loved the matches that we had. I mean, you had Okada versus Pac.
Yeah, that was great.
Really fun brainbuster as well. I thought that was good. Kevin Knight, man. Kevin Knight is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Knight and Kyle Fletcher. You kidding me? That was awesome. That was such a great TV match. That kid is nuts. I say kid because he's, like 21, 22? I don't know how old he is, but he's young, and he's insanely impressive. Like, think of we just watched the Iron Survivor, like Javon Evans and Leon Slater. I know, wasn't Knight in TNA before? Right? Like,
I'm not sure.
So.
I don't know.
Like, he's one of the more like high flyer, like flippy kind of guys. And I think of like Leon Slater that we watched tonight. Like, he's doing a lot of like crazy, like jumping stuff. Like, both these guys got some incredible.
He was New Japan.
He was New Japan, right? Yeah. With Kushida.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think he did wrestle there, but I think he's awesome. And that match with Fletcher, who's also an incredible talent. Like, the wrestling with the Continental Classic is top tier, because on the same show you had Moxley and Claudio as well as Pac and Okada. So like, yeah, the wrestling really stuck for me. unfortunately, I'm not liking the Samoa Joe ops. It's like the shittier version of the Death Riders.
Yeah.
It's like we're going back to where the Death Riders
It's just so soon to go through with it. And the Death Riders is still a thing. Yeah, we haven't even finished that story yet.
I think they kind of botched that. It's like Joe winning isn't the problem. It's like what the creative and everything around it with Hook and stuff. It's a bit of a letdown for me on that front. Like, I think you could do so much. Oh, and Joe coming out not wearing a suit and being like, I'm not wearing a suit because fuck you, Eddie Kingston, essentially. I was like, no, you should be. You're anyway. There's a few things I didn't like on AEW TV, but I can't say the wrestling was bad at all. Like, nope. I like to watch the wrestling for the wrestling, so it was great. And am I crazy? I think Dark Order was on TV.
They were. Yeah.
So claws up.
You are right. Kevin Knight wrestled in Impact in 2022. And Darby Allin being pulled from the Continental Classic, being replaced by Jack Perry due to injury.
Oh, interesting. No, but the Continental Classic always provides some great wrestling. And
I enjoy. I want this every time now. The internet are confused by booking or stipulations or rules or whatever. Just Don Callis coming out being like, "You fucking idiots! This is what it is. Just one title's on the line. Therefore, it's not unified anymore. Which means he's just international champion. If he wins this, he'll be continental and therefore unified again." It's that simple. Like, I'm thinking back to the Shawn Michaels explaining the rules of the Iron Survivor. Right. It should have just been Don Callis. Like, you fucking idiots. You start with 2 people, 5 minutes, they wrestle. If they get a pinfall, they get a point. Someone else enters. We have a penalty box. You get pinned, you're in the penalty box. Winner is the one with the most points after 25 minutes. Stop crying. Like, we just need this every week now. Anything that's slightly confusing, Don Callis comes out and explains it.
I love the pairing of Danielson and Don, right? Because it feels like we're getting a lot more Don because like his guys are in the tournament, so he's always
his guys are the whole roster.
Yeah, everyone is in the Don Callis family at this point. So, the wrestling continues to be good. I'm looking forward to this week as well, and then I guess we're getting Takeshita Okada at World's End, and I'm furious. As of course the show I'm not going to go to live in person, but like that makes the most sense. But that's also going to be like a week or so before, or 2 weeks before, like Wrestle Kingdom. So that's interesting. So we shall see, unless they drag it out even more.
I could see them dragging it out more.
Right?
I could see that being a thing.
Yeah, please do. So
I mean, you could have Takeshita win the Continental Championship. Like Okada falls in the semi, and then you have the Unified Championship match in the new year.
So they've announced Revolution, but that's in March. So is there there's no January or February?
It was the same this year. The only thing we had this year was Dynasty in January, the Tokyo Dome, January 5th. And then we went to March, but because we're not doing that, it feels a long break, especially seeing that some parts of the year we have a pay-per-view 2 weeks apart or even a week apart a couple of years ago. It's odd that we've got that long break.
Yeah, it's weird that they would announce Revolution in LA, but then there's a big gap, and it feels like there's pay-per-views every month, but that month it feels like there's like almost 2-3 months in between. But we shall see. Maybe that's where they do Takeshita versus Okada in LA. You could bring Otani to join the Don Callis family ringside for that match.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. Anyways, been loving the wrestling on that. That's crazy. I mean, hey, is AEW still going to be on TV in 2026? Or are they going to be on Netflix next to WWE? What's
okay? So I believe
going on.
I haven't seen all the ins and outs. I believe like WBD is like splitting.
Yes.
So I think it's all like the HBO stuff and the movies. Yes. I think will be Netflix, or whether Netflix just, Netflix might just own HBO Max and have 2 separate streaming things that you've got to pay more money for or whatever. Crazy. I'm not sure. But I think the TV is a separate thing still. So I think for the time being, like TBS and TNT will just be running as they are.
Because there's like a Discovery thing, like Discovery Warner or whatever.
Yeah.
So we will still get wrestling. It's just like, where do things go? Will HBO be on Netflix? Yeah, it sounds like they'll own all the HBO properties. Or like DC, do they own like Batman movies? And like going forward, do they own all the rights?
So I think they said they're gonna, like, movie releases, they only want up for like 2 weeks in the theaters, and then it will move to streaming. It will be a limited release in theaters before going.
That's what Netflix has been doing already. So that's the new future of movies.
Now over here we have Crave, where we get our HBO.
Oh, they're done.
You have to pay extra to get HBO on Crave. I wonder if that's whether we'll see like a tiered thing on Netflix, where it's like regular Netflix is what is it now, $12.99 or whatever it is. But if you want HBO Netflix, it's $20 a month. Or
yeah, talking to any Americans, like the last few weeks, we were in the States just a few weeks ago, and talking to some people, it's like, oh yeah, on HBO Max, and it's like, oh, we don't have that in Canada. And some people were asking, like, what do you mean? What do you guys have instead? I'm like, we have Crave, and they're like, oh, what's that? I'm like, it's HBO Max. It's like pretty much the exact same thing.
What's interesting well, it is and it isn't, because Crave you have to pay more to get. Like Crave has their like basic tier. But if you want HBO, you've got to pay quite a bit more.
I remember on a more personal note, I remember one of your ex's friends worked for Crave.
Yeah.
We were at a party and she was like, oh, yes, I got a raise at work because I helped launch Crave. And I was like, oh, what's Crave? And she's like, it's like HBO Max, and we're getting high praise for all the people subscribing. I think it was around Game of Thrones. It was pretty popular. And I remember being like, well, what did you do that was so creative? You just created the same app but in Canada. And she's like, no, it's completely different. I was like, I think it's the same thing. It's just you have the rights to air Sopranos.
I do like Crave. I like Crave.
Yeah, it's definitely going away. Bell Media itself seems to be separating from TV and media. So,
but what's interesting, HBO Max is about to launch in Europe as well. Anyway,
okay, so they're going to keep it.
Yeah, so it's going to be. I think it's going to be a while before we see things change.
We will probably get HBO Max eventually here as well, but it will be interesting if, like, Batman, DC, DCU, big Harry Potter, big franchises that they could do a whole lot with. We got that series that's coming out.
Yeah.
Harry Potter, like that's going to be a big money making thing for them. But it's crazy that like a big company spending how many billions on another company in our generation. Like I thought,
they're all in debt as well.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I don't think Netflix is profiting now. Like, I think there's still millions in debt.
Don't you just miss cable? No. Like it's just so weird that like in our generation, I thought it was crazy when Star Wars dude sold Star Wars to Disney.
Yeah.
I was like, it's all over. The world is going to shit. And then like it's fast forward, even worse than that. These big companies just gobbling up these other ones. So as long as my wrestling is fine, then everything is fine. So AEW will still have a home regardless of, it won't be on AMC.
Nope.
And it won't be on Netflix, but it'll be on, I don't know, HBO Max or Discovery or TBS, or I don't know, maybe these stations will still exist, but I'm sure we'll learn more about this. And for more better update, I'm sure stay close to John Pollock and Brandon Thurston on their weekly show. They'll definitely know a lot more about it than your average me or you. But and shout out Brandon Thurston with his loved his story about the John Cena thing. We'll end it after this, but the John Cena getting sued over his theme song the week before he retires. Really?
Well, it's not John Cena being sued.
No, but like, isn't it interesting that like the week this dude is retiring, there's a lawsuit against the song?
So you know what's funny is like this isn't like a new case.
No,
this was settled years ago.
They claimed it was settled,
and I think it was settled for $50,000. And you say it's like, isn't it weird the week he retires? Is it just like the daughter of this guy who also took the theme from something else beforehand?
I'll tell you all about it. I explained this on, so we do a show called The Champ Is Here. And on episode 1, I can tell you how this all happened. The guy who made the beat, his name is Jake One, if I'm not mistaken. He produced this. But around the time when we announced The Champ Is Here, around the time when they announced John Cena's retirement tour this whole year, I think this is almost a year ago at this point, of like, hey, the next year is going to be John Cena's last year of wrestling. The producer, Jake One, made a TikTok or a YouTube video explaining how he made the beat. I watched this. I thought it was really cool. I'm also a beat maker. I love samples. I love music. I brought it up on our show and I said, hey, this guy did a really cool video explaining how he broke it down. And I mentioned, did you know that John Cena's theme actually samples a Reba McEntire song? Sort of, kind of. I bet you, just a speculation, whoever's involved in this lawsuit saw that guy's YouTube video and went, wait a second.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Wait a second. That's my song.
But it's, I mean, I think it was settled before then. It was settled a few years ago. But as you said, it's funny the timing. Is it just the daughter of this guy who settled originally suddenly sees John Cena on Jimmy Kimmel and is like, wait, you're actually a bigger star than I realized.
Yeah, wait,
like she knows nothing about wrestling. And it's like, oh, some wrestlers using my dad's tune. And then it's like, wait, it's the guy from Peacemaker? Oh, fuck that. I got ripped off.
So it's kind of weird. It's like that song. I know you saw Oasis this year and you said the Verve opened for them. And I was like, oh, that's sick. But the Verve, similar shit. Okay, the Verve Bittersweet Symphony, the sample is a Rolling Stones sample. However, the sample they use is an orchestra playing the Rolling Stones. So the Rolling Stones sued the fuck out of them saying that's still our song.
Yeah.
So therefore that dude made absolutely no money on that song ever because he was always in debt to that sample. And that's kind of the same way here, whereas the sample used in John Cena's theme is a cover of The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia. So therefore there's like layers to like, well, who actually owns this and that? It sounds like people are just a little money hungry and jumping on that. Like, again, you're joking that, hey, wait a second, actually this guy has a lot of money. This is a big company. We should sue them for more money. Is probably what actually happened.
Yes.
So funny timing on that. But again, postwrestling.com, WrestleNomics. I loved the story of him I've seen Sports Illustrated as well, but I loved reading Thurston's talk about it. Again, it's like two different things I love is the wrestling and the sampling. And I just found it funny of all the times that these people want to bring this up.
I thought you were going to say wrestling and lawsuits.
Love wrestling and lawsuits. They go hand in hand, don't they? Right? Yeah.
Always.
Anyways, I think that's about it for this evening, this afternoon. Appreciate everyone in the chat, as always, hanging out with us here with our deadline review. We are up next, but we are also Poisonrana. Like I said, search Poisonrana in your YouTube or your podcast feed. Hit that subscribe. We will be live next Sunday, 2 p.m. to talk all about John Cena's retirement, Saturday night's main event, the Continental Classic, and so much more. But also on the free feed, I will be dropping our Champ is Here Rock John Cena feud podcast. It's like 3+ hours of us talking about Cena and so much more. So check that out this week as well on the free feed, poisonrana.ca, for all the links of everything else that we do. And we will be back on Tuesday right here at Post Wrestling with a new Up Next, talking all about the fallout from Deadline, all the build for New Year's Evil, and so much more. But thank you, NXT friends. Thank you, Postmarks. Appreciate the love and the support. And we will talk to you very, very soon. But that is it. That is all. Take care. Goodbye. And be safe.
Ahoy!